The night was cold and filled with tension. October 13th, 1307. Paris was asleep, unaware that the most powerful and secretive military order in history, the Knights Templar, was about to be torn apart. Under the cover of darkness, King Philip IV of France launched a brutal raid on their strongholds. The Templars, once untouchable and revered, were now prisoners, accused of the most heinous crimes. But what if their downfall was not about heresy, but a much deeper secret? A secret so dangerous that it had to be erased from history. What was the true reason behind the fall of the Templars? The answer might just be hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. The cold, moonlit night of October 13th, 1307, is forever etched in the annals of history. It was a night that seemed like any other, but beneath the surface, it pulsed with tension, anticipation, and betrayal. The Knights of the Templar Order, the world's most powerful and mysterious military order, were about to be hunted down in one fell swoop. In the shadowed streets of Paris, beneath the gaze of a city that had no idea of the calamity to come, the Templars were already being taken. Imagine it. The flickering light of torches in the dark, casting long shadows against the stone walls. The sounds of boots echoing through narrow alleys, punctuated by the distant clang of armor, and whispers of betrayal on the wind. The Templars, once the most feared warriors of Christendom, who had fought alongside kings and defended the Holy Land, were now prisoners in their own city. King Philip IV of France had orchestrated this night with precision, fueled by an insatiable thirst for wealth and power. It was a ruthless act of political maneuvering, a plan that would see the order of the Temple fall, and, in doing so, reveal just how fragile the power structures of medieval Europe truly were. This wasn't just the end of an order. It was the death of a secret so dangerous that it had to be erased, wiped from history. The Templars were accused of heinous crimes: heresy, idolatry, and blasphemy. Their so-called secret rituals were said to involve the worship of strange deities and obscene practices. The night they were arrested, they were forced to confess under the most brutal of tortures, their once untouchable reputation shattered in the eyes of Europe. But in those confessions, was there more than met the eye? Could there have been a grain of truth in the rumors? Or was it all part of a larger, sinister plot? The more you dig into the story of the Templar arrests, the more it feels like the beginning of a conspiracy of a different magnitude. King Philip, who was deeply in debt to the Templars, saw this moment as an opportunity to eliminate his financial burdens. The Templars' vast wealth was legendary. They controlled a network of castles, estates, and treasures spanning Europe. They were bankers to kings and queens, their coffers bulging with gold, and their influence reaching every corner of the known world. Yet, despite their enormous power, they had always remained an enigma. Their true purpose, the heart of their order, had been shrouded in secrecy from the very beginning. As dawn approached, the knights who had once been noble protectors of pilgrims and defenders of the faith were now seen as heretics, traitors, and criminals. The question echoed through Europe: what secret could have been so dangerous that it led to their fall? Were the Templars just a group of opportunists cloaked in religious piety? Or did they truly hold a power that could have reshaped the world? One theory, persistent through the ages, suggests that the Templars were protectors of something far greater than material wealth. It is said that they discovered a lost relic during the First Crusade, something so powerful that it could change the course of history. The Holy Grail. But this wasn't just a cup of legend. It was believed to be the key to unlocking a new world order, a mystery so profound that it was worth dying for. Could this secret, this relic, have been the reason behind the Templars' rapid rise and their even more rapid downfall? The reality is far more complex than simple treasure hunting or power grabs. The Templars were, at their core, a deeply religious order. They believed they were divinely chosen to protect the sanctity of the Christian faith. But over the centuries, their role in the Crusades, their accumulation of power, and their secrecy led to suspicion. In the eyes of many, they became something more than just knights. They were a shadowy force, a symbol of a hidden world within the world. The Knights' oath, their secrecy, and their rituals became increasingly suspicious in the eyes of the public. As the Templars fell, so did the very ideals they had once represented. The Pope, Clement V, a man caught between the demands of King Philip and his own authority, was forced to disband the order in 1312. But even in death, the order's shadow loomed large. The Templars' influence was far-reaching, and their legacy continued to ripple through history. The secret they guarded, whatever it was, remained just out of reach, always tantalizingly close but never fully understood. What if the truth behind their downfall wasn't just about money or power, but something far deeper? Could the Templars have been destroyed because they possessed knowledge that threatened the very foundation of medieval society? Were they too dangerous to be allowed to continue, not just because of their wealth but because of what they had uncovered? The arrest of the Templars was not just the end of an order. It marked the beginning of a series of questions that would echo through the centuries. What happened that night in 1307 was not just about knights in shining armor and treasure. It was about a shift in the balance of power, a shift that would define the future of Europe and, eventually, the world. The Templars had always been a mystery, but on that cold October night, their myth was born. The question that hangs in the air, unanswered for over 700 years, is still the same. What was the Templar secret? And more importantly, who wanted it destroyed, and why? As the last of the Templars were dragged away, their fates sealed in chains, the vaults of their hidden treasures remained locked. Their legacy was left behind, scattered across Europe in the form of cryptic symbols, secret rituals, and buried truths. The fall of the Templars set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the rise of new power structures, new ideologies, and new conspiracies. To this day, some still search for the remnants of their secret, believing that it holds the key to understanding not just the past, but the future. As the centuries have passed, the Templar myth has only grown stronger. It has become a symbol of something elusive, something that lies just beyond our reach, hidden in the darkness. And as history continues to unfold, their story, and the mystery of what they knew, lingers in the shadows, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it. What if the Templars were not just a relic of a bygone era, but a warning? What if the secret they guarded was not only a part of history but something still relevant today, a force that continues to shape the world in ways we have yet to fully understand? As we look back at their fall, we are left with more questions than answers, but perhaps that is the true legacy of the Templars. A legacy that haunts us still, as we try to decipher the riddles they left behind. The night was still heavy with tension, the cold air seeping through the narrow streets of Paris, where shadows hid the weight of what was about to unfold. The fate of the most powerful military order in medieval Europe rested in the hands of a king, whose hunger for power and wealth had grown insatiable. King Philip IV of France, a man known for his ambition and ruthless cunning, had orchestrated the downfall of the Templars with the precision of a master strategist. The Knights of the Order, once invincible and revered throughout Europe, were about to be exposed for the first time as something much darker, much more treacherous than the world had ever imagined. It began with whispers in the halls of power, with rumors that the Templars held secrets so dangerous that they posed a threat to the stability of the kingdom. For years, King Philip had been mired in massive debts owed to the Templar order. The Knights had become not only warriors for the Christian faith but bankers to kings, their financial empire woven into the fabric of Europe's most powerful institutions. But as the debt grew, so did Philip's paranoia. What if the Templars held more than just gold and treasures? What if they possessed a power far more valuable, something that could secure or destroy his reign? This question haunted Philip, gnawing at him as he tried to balance the demands of his royal duties and the ever-increasing strain of his financial obligations. But instead of seeking resolution through diplomacy or negotiations, he turned to a far darker method: elimination. The Templars had become a symbol of strength and influence that threatened to outshine his own power, and for someone like Philip, there was only one way to handle such a threat: annihilation. It was not just a matter of financial desperation. The Templars were a law unto themselves, operating outside the traditional bounds of church and state. Their secrecy, their rituals, and the immense power they wielded made them an enigma to the people of Europe. It was said that the Templars were privy to knowledge that even kings and popes could not access. They were guardians of secrets, some of which might very well have been buried in the dusty, forgotten corners of the world. To Philip, this was an intolerable reality. For a king whose entire reign depended on maintaining a fragile balance of power, a secret society as influential as the Templars was not just a nuisance. It was a direct threat. Philip's actions on that fateful night were not just a political maneuver. They were a declaration of war against the very idea of secrecy and hidden power. As he gave the order to arrest the knights one by one across his kingdom, he was not just striking at a military order. He was trying to wipe away the shadows in which the Templars had thrived, to expose them for what he believed they truly were. A dangerous, treacherous force bent on controlling the destiny of Europe. The king's mind raced with the possibilities of what the Templars might know, what they might have hidden, things so powerful that they could destabilize the entire continent. The arrests were swift and brutal. On the morning of October 13, 1307, the knights were taken into custody, shackled, beaten, and thrown into dark dungeons. They were accused of a multitude of heresies, crimes so vile that they would make any Christian tremble. It was said that they worshipped strange idols, that they engaged in blasphemous rituals, and that they secretly mocked the very faith they had sworn to defend. These accusations, many of which were fabricated under duress, would go down in history as the supposed reason for the downfall of the order. But as the knights were tortured and forced to confess, something far darker was unfolding. The true reason behind their destruction was not merely to extinguish a few rogue monks, but to silence a force that had the potential to shape the course of history. The arrest and trial of the Templars were not simply legal proceedings. They were a spectacle designed to tear apart the fabric of the order's influence. Philip knew that to destroy the Templars completely, he needed more than just their treasure. He needed to annihilate their reputation, to erase their legacy. The rumors of heresy and blasphemy, spread throughout the courts of Europe, would serve as the perfect cover for his true intentions. If the Templars were seen as heretics, as enemies of the Church, then their vast wealth and lands could be seized without protest, and their influence could be erased from the history books. This was not just the end of a military order. This was an attempt to erase an entire way of life, one that had, for centuries, existed in the shadows, untouchable by the reach of kings and emperors. In the days that followed, the order's grand masters were hauled before the courts, where they were subjected to unthinkable tortures. But it was not just their bodies that were broken. It was their spirit, their sacred oath, and the unity they had once shared. The knights who had once fought valiantly for the Christian cause were now stripped of their honor, humiliated in front of the world. Forced confessions were extracted, testimonies that would later fuel the myths surrounding the Templars. In their desperation, some knights admitted to unspeakable crimes, their confessions twisted to fit the narrative that Philip and the Church wished to construct. These confessions were used as irrefutable proof of the Templars' depravity, a justification for their complete annihilation. But even in the midst of this chaos, the Templars remained resolute. Some of them, despite the unimaginable torture they endured, maintained their innocence. They claimed that the accusations of heresy were unfounded, that the rituals they had practiced were not evil, but sacred. However, the more they denied the charges, the more their fate seemed sealed. The trial of the Templars became less about the truth and more about the creation of a narrative that would justify their eradication. Philip's plan was executed with military precision. The wealth of the Templars, which had been hidden away in vaults throughout Europe, was seized by the king's men. Castles, estates, and lands, once owned by the order, were now under the control of Philip and his allies. It was a moment of triumph for the king, a victory over a force that had once rivaled his own. But despite the seemingly decisive blow to the Templars, their myth had only begun to take root. As the Templar Knights were driven into the shadows, their secrets, their relics, and their treasure remained. The final destruction of the order did not mark the end of their influence. It marked the beginning of a new phase in their story. For centuries, people would wonder if the Templars had truly been destroyed, or if they had simply gone underground, their mysterious legacy continuing to haunt the pages of history. Was Philip's destruction of the Templars truly a victory? Or did it, in fact, mark the moment when the order's power shifted from the physical to the symbolic? Perhaps Philip had unwittingly created the perfect myth. In erasing the Templars from the pages of history, he gave rise to the legend of their secret knowledge, a legend that would grow with each passing century. What if, in his attempt to rid the world of the Templars, Philip had ensured their immortality? As the knights were led to their deaths, as their treasures were claimed and their names were tarnished, the question remained unanswered. What had they truly known? What secret had they held that made them such a dangerous force in the eyes of Philip? Perhaps the answer lies not in the wealth they amassed, nor in the accusations made against them, but in the silence that followed their destruction. For it is in this silence, in the space between their fall and the myths that began to rise in their place, that the true story of the Templars may still be hidden, waiting to be uncovered. What if, by exposing the Templars to the world, Philip had unknowingly given birth to a new kind of power, one that would shape the future of Europe and beyond? What if, in destroying the order, he had set in motion a series of events that would keep their story alive, echoing through the centuries? The betrayal of the Templars may have been the beginning of something far greater than any of the kings, popes, or conspirators had ever imagined. It may have been the start of a legend that has yet to be fully understood, a legend that continues to captivate the world today. The Templar Order began not with grandiose visions or the quest for power, but with a humble, almost desperate mission: the protection of Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. In the early 12th century, after the First Crusade, the Holy Land was a volatile and dangerous place, and the pilgrims who journeyed there were often preyed upon by bandits and hostile forces. At the heart of this chaos, a group of French knights, led by Hugues de Payens, sought to offer protection and provide a sense of safety to the faithful making their way to Jerusalem. Their mission was simple at first: defend the pilgrims and preserve the sanctity of the holy sites. What began as a small group of devout warriors quickly grew into a powerful military order, one that would change the course of European history. The Templars took their name from the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, where they were initially stationed, guarding the city's sacred sites. Their vows were like those of monks: poverty, chastity, and obedience. Yet, their mission was unlike any other monastic order. Instead of praying in isolation, they wore armor, wielded swords, and fought alongside crusaders. They were warriors and monks, blending religious devotion with military prowess, a unique combination that would eventually make them one of the most formidable forces in medieval Europe. By the early 13th century, the Templars had grown far beyond their original mission. Their influence spread across Europe like wildfire, and their order became synonymous with power and wealth. But it wasn't just their military might that made them feared and respected. It was the economic network they had built. The Templars had established a banking system that allowed pilgrims to deposit money in one location and withdraw it upon their arrival in Jerusalem. This system was revolutionary, and it quickly spread throughout Europe, positioning the Templars as one of the most influential financial institutions of the time. Their coffers grew as the Crusades raged on, and with each victory, the order's power and reach expanded. In many ways, the rise of the Templars mirrored the rise of Europe itself. Their success coincided with the age of European exploration and conquest, a time when kingdoms and empires sought to expand their influence, acquire wealth, and claim new territories. The Templars, however, were not like the other military orders of the time. They weren't beholden to the same local feudal powers that controlled much of Europe. Instead, they answered only to the Pope, which granted them a unique form of independence. This autonomy, combined with their vast wealth, allowed the Templars to build an empire that spanned from the Holy Land to the farthest reaches of Europe. The knights who swore oaths to the Templar Order were not just warriors. They were part of a brotherhood that transcended borders, religion, and even national allegiance. The order became a network of interconnected castles, estates, and resources that united men from all corners of Europe. Each knight was bound not only by faith but by a shared purpose that was larger than any individual or nation. The Templars were, in essence, a transnational force, a private army with the ability to influence political decisions across kingdoms and empires. But as the order grew in strength, so did the suspicion that surrounded them. They were secretive, elusive, and shrouded in mystery. Their rituals, known only to those within the inner circle, became the subject of speculation and rumor. Outsiders viewed their practices with a sense of fear and awe. The Templars' strict adherence to secrecy fueled these suspicions, and many began to believe that they were not just a military order, but something more. They were said to possess secret knowledge, a hidden truth that could change the world. Some even claimed that they were the guardians of the Holy Grail itself, a relic that held the power to unlock mysteries far beyond religious significance. This aura of secrecy only deepened as the Templars' wealth and influence grew. They began to acquire more and more land, castles, and estates, further cementing their place in European society. But with this power came envy, and as the Templars' rise continued, so did the resentment of those who felt threatened by their reach. Kings and nobles who once sought the aid of the Templars now began to view them with suspicion. What were the Templars truly after? What secrets did they hide behind their closed doors? And why did they insist on remaining so mysterious, even as they exerted so much influence over the affairs of kings? The Templars' relationship with the Church was equally complex. On one hand, they were sworn to protect Christianity, and their vows were taken under the direct authority of the Pope. The Church initially supported the Templars, viewing them as defenders of the faith and important allies in the Crusades. But over time, cracks began to appear. The Templars' vast wealth and influence were growing at a rate that made some in the Church uneasy. As they amassed riches, they became a potential rival to the very power that had created them. The Church, already strained from political conflicts and the pressures of maintaining its control over Christendom, began to view the Templars not as allies but as a threat. A threat that, if left unchecked, could destabilize the delicate balance of power in Europe. But what was the true nature of this threat? The Templars' wealth, though vast, was only one aspect of the order's power. More dangerous was their independence. They answered to no one but the Pope, and even that allegiance was tenuous at times. They were a law unto themselves, a force that could not be easily controlled or influenced by the kings of Europe or the Church itself. It was this autonomy, combined with their growing financial and military power, that made the Templars a force to be reckoned with. The more they grew, the more they threatened the existing power structures. And, in the end, it was their very success that led to their undoing. The Templars' rise was also intricately tied to the Crusades, the military campaigns launched by European Christians to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. Initially, the Templars were seen as noble defenders of the faith, their role in the Crusades positioning them as key players in the battle for Jerusalem. But over time, the motivations behind the Crusades began to shift. What began as a religious mission slowly evolved into something else. A power struggle between kingdoms, a battle for land, resources, and dominance. The Templars, as military strategists, were deeply involved in these conflicts, and their role in the Crusades further elevated their status. But as their role in the Crusades grew, so too did their involvement in the politics of the region. They were not just soldiers in the Holy War. They were power brokers, negotiating and maneuvering behind the scenes to secure the interests of the order. Yet, for all their success, the Templars' mission was fraught with contradictions. On one hand, they were protectors of the Christian faith, sworn to defend Jerusalem and the holy sites from foreign invaders. On the other hand, they were soldiers of fortune, willing to fight for whoever could provide the most resources to support their cause. Their role in the Crusades was as much about securing their own future as it was about securing Christianity's. This duality, this blending of religious piety with the pragmatism of war and conquest, set the Templars apart from other religious orders of the time. As the Templars' wealth and power grew, so did their involvement in the affairs of Europe. Kings, queens, and nobles sought their favor, offering them land and treasure in exchange for their support in battles and political maneuverings. The Templars' network of estates and castles stretched across Europe, from the Iberian Peninsula to the heart of France, and beyond. They had become more than just a religious order. They had become an empire, one that operated with a level of independence and autonomy that was unheard of in the medieval world. But with this independence came danger. The Templars had created something unprecedented. A private army, an international financial network, and a shadowy order that operated outside the laws of kings and the authority of the church. As their influence grew, so did the fear that they could one day challenge the very institutions that had allowed them to flourish. And so, as the Templars' power reached its zenith, the seeds of their destruction were already being sown. It is this paradox, the Templars' dual nature as both religious monks and military strategists, both humble servants of God and powerful players in the political and financial spheres, that makes their story so intriguing. They were men of faith, but they were also men of power. And it was this combination of devotion and ambition that would eventually lead to their fall. The Templars were never just a military order. They were a force that reshaped the world. But in the end, their ambition was their undoing, and the very power they sought to protect became the reason for their destruction. The legend of the Holy Grail is one of the most enduring and captivating tales in Western history. Its mystery has inspired countless myths, stories, and quests, capturing the imaginations of generations. But for the Knights Templar, the Grail was not just a myth or a story. It was a symbol of ultimate power, a relic that might hold the key to secrets that could alter the course of history. The Templars, with their enigmatic aura and their deep ties to the Crusades, have often been linked to the Grail in both popular culture and historical speculation. But how much of this is truth and how much is myth? Could the Templars truly have possessed such a treasure? And if so, what did the Grail represent to them and to the world? The first traces of the Templar Grail connection can be found in the historical context of the Crusades. During the early years of the First Crusade, the Templars had been charged with the protection of Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land, as well as guarding the holy sites of Jerusalem. These knights, who had sworn oaths of poverty, chastity, and obedience, found themselves not just fighting for religious causes but also for the control of sacred ground. Jerusalem, for centuries, had been a symbol of both spiritual and political power. In the heart of the city, it is said, the Holy Grail once resided, a relic believed to hold divine power. But by the time the Templars arrived in Jerusalem, the Grail's fate was already clouded in mystery. According to some accounts, the Grail had vanished, its location unknown, hidden by those who had sought to protect its power from falling into the wrong hands. But the idea that the Grail was not lost, that it was instead hidden away in plain sight, took root among certain circles within the Templar order. As they dug deeper into the ruins of Jerusalem and the ancient sites around it, they believed they uncovered clues, cryptic symbols that seemed to point to a secret that had been concealed for centuries. These symbols, often embedded in the architecture of sacred sites or hidden in the texts of ancient manuscripts, led the Templars to believe that they were the true guardians of the Grail. Whether they actually possessed the artifact or not, they certainly had reason to believe that they were the keepers of a secret that could bring them immense power. It is important to understand what the Grail represented to the Templars. In the Christian tradition, the Holy Grail is not just a cup used by Christ at the Last Supper, but a symbol of divine grace and eternal life. It is said to hold the blood of Christ, the very essence of God's sacrifice for humanity. To possess such an object was to possess the means to unlock eternal salvation. And with that salvation came immense power, power over life, death, and the very fate of the world. This idea, of course, is heavily rooted in Christian mysticism, but for the Templars it went beyond mere faith. They were soldiers, but they were also seekers of truth. The Grail, for them, was more than a relic. It was the key to an ancient and hidden knowledge that could grant them dominion over not just the Holy Land, but the entire world. As the Templars' power grew, so too did the rumors about their connection to the Grail. Stories began to circulate that the Templars had discovered the sacred relic in the catacombs beneath Jerusalem. Some claimed that they had hidden it away in secret vaults, their contents guarded by layers of symbolism and cryptic messages. These stories took root and spread across Europe, fueling a growing belief that the Templars were not just holy warriors, but guardians of a divine secret. The Grail was not merely a religious object, but something much more dangerous, a force that could shape the future of Europe and the world. What if, however, the Grail was never meant to be a literal cup, but rather a symbol of something far more profound? What if the Templars did not possess the Grail in its physical form but had instead come to understand the true meaning behind it? A meaning that transcended religion and history. Some scholars and theorists have posited that the Grail was a metaphor for hidden knowledge. Knowledge of the ancients, passed down through the ages and safeguarded by the Order. This knowledge, once unlocked, could challenge everything humanity thought it knew about its origins, its purpose, and its destiny. The idea that the Templars were the keepers of this knowledge is supported by their curious and secretive nature. The Order, after all, was built on secrecy. Their rituals were private, their symbols were hidden in plain sight, and their hierarchy was shrouded in mystery. Their very existence was a paradox. On one hand, they were sworn to serve the Church, to protect Christendom. On the other, they operated outside the established power structures of both church and state. This autonomy, this independence, made them a unique force in medieval Europe. They were not just religious men. They were also a powerful, independent order that could shape the course of history. If they had indeed uncovered a divine secret, something beyond the comprehension of most, it would explain why they were so determined to keep it hidden. As the Templars expanded their influence across Europe, they began to encounter other groups who, like them, were interested in the mysteries of the Grail. One such group was the Cathars, a heretical sect whose beliefs about the nature of God and the universe stood in stark contrast to the teachings of the Catholic Church. The Cathars, like the Templars, were believed to possess secret knowledge, and some have speculated that the Templars and the Cathars shared a common understanding of the Grail. Whether the Templars and Cathars were allies or enemies is a matter of historical debate, but the idea that these two groups were connected through a shared belief in the Grail is tantalizing. The Templars' connection to the Grail, whether physical or symbolic, is also reflected in the art and architecture they left behind. Many of the cathedrals and churches built by the Templars contain strange symbols and hidden messages that seem to point to a secret knowledge, an esoteric understanding of the world. These symbols, geometric shapes, hidden codes, and references to sacred geometry, suggest that the Templars were not just soldiers of Christ, but also scholars, mystics, and seekers of a deeper truth. The way they incorporated these symbols into their buildings and rituals is a testament to their belief in the hidden power of the Grail, and perhaps even to their role as the guardians of that power. For centuries, the myth of the Templar Grail has captivated adventurers, historians, and treasure hunters alike. Countless individuals have attempted to uncover the truth behind the Templars' connection to the Grail, driven by the belief that finding it would unlock the secrets of the universe. From the Holy Grail's connection to King Arthur's legend to modern-day treasure hunts, the Grail has remained an object of fascination. But what if the true secret of the Grail was not about finding a physical relic, but about understanding a deeper, hidden truth, one that transcended time and space? This idea has been explored in countless works of fiction, most famously in the book The Da Vinci Code, which proposed that the Grail was a hidden symbol of ancient knowledge, passed down through secret societies like the Templars. In the novel, the Grail is not a cup, but a metaphor for a hidden lineage, a bloodline that holds the secret to a new understanding of history. While this theory is purely fictional, it has resonated with many who believe that the Templars were indeed the keepers of a secret that could shake the very foundations of Christianity and Western civilization. Perhaps the most compelling argument for the Templars' connection to the Grail lies not in what they may have possessed, but in what they may have understood. The Grail, in its many forms, represents more than just a relic or a symbol of religious devotion. It is a key to understanding the mysteries of the universe, the connection between the physical and the spiritual. If the Templars had access to such knowledge, it would explain why they were so determined to protect it. Their secrecy, their rituals, their obsession with the Grail, all of these elements point to the idea that they were not just warriors, but keepers of a profound truth. The mystery of the Templar Grail, whether real or imagined, is a reminder of the power of myth and the allure of hidden knowledge. As long as the Templars remain a part of history, so too will the legend of the Grail. Whether it was an actual relic or a metaphor for something deeper, the Templars' connection to the Grail continues to fuel our imagination, inviting us to wonder, what if the truth behind the Grail is still out there, waiting to be discovered? What if the Templars, in their quest for the divine, uncovered something that has been lost to history, a secret that has the power to change the world. The mystery remains, as tantalizing and elusive as ever, and the quest for the truth continues. As the Templars' influence expanded across medieval Europe, their wealth and power grew in ways that many could scarcely comprehend. The Order's vast network of estates, castles, and financial holdings made them a force to be reckoned with, not only on the battlefield but in the political and economic spheres as well. Their reach stretched from the Iberian Peninsula to the heart of France, from the holy lands of Jerusalem to the quiet villages of England. But the Templars' success was not without its dangers. Their growing wealth, their independence, and their secrecy drew the suspicion of kings, nobles, and, most importantly, the Church. As the Order's power continued to rise, so did the fear that it could one day overshadow the very institutions that had allowed it to flourish. The Templars' rise was inextricably linked to the Crusades, the military campaigns waged by European Christians to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. The Order's initial mission, the protection of pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem, was a noble and simple one. But as the Crusades progressed, the Templars found themselves drawn into a complex web of politics, warfare, and religious ideology. The more successful the Crusades became, the more powerful the Templars became, until they were no longer just protectors of the Holy Land but a military force in their own right, with resources and influence far beyond what anyone could have imagined when they first set out. The Templars were not just soldiers of Christ. They were also bankers, landowners, and political operatives. Their financial network was revolutionary. Pilgrims could deposit money in one location and withdraw it upon arrival in the Holy Land. This system, which evolved into an early form of banking, made the Templars incredibly wealthy. Their vast holdings were spread across Europe, and their wealth was invested in agricultural land, real estate, and trade. This financial prowess allowed them to fund not only their own operations but also the military campaigns of kings and queens. They were able to lend money to monarchs, and in return, they gained a level of political influence that no other religious order could match. But the Templars' financial success became a double-edged sword. As their wealth increased, so did the envy and distrust of those who saw their rise as a threat to their own power. The kings of Europe, particularly Philip IV of France, began to see the Templars as a rival force. Philip's reign had been marked by heavy debts to the Order, and as his financial troubles deepened, he began to fear that the Templars' power could one day rival his own. The Templars, with their vast resources and their growing independence from both church and state, had become a law unto themselves, and for a monarch like Philip, this was unacceptable. It wasn't just the financial resources of the Templars that caused concern. The very secrecy that had helped them rise to power now became a source of suspicion. The Templars were known for their esoteric rituals, their cryptic symbols, and their strict adherence to secrecy. Outsiders were never allowed to fully understand the inner workings of the Order, and this secrecy fueled rumors that the Templars were involved in all manner of forbidden practices. Stories circulated about their involvement in occult rituals, heretical ceremonies, and the worship of strange idols. These rumors were exacerbated by the fact that the Templars had accumulated immense wealth and power, yet their operations remained hidden from the public eye. In the eyes of many, the Templars were no longer just a religious order. They were something more, something mysterious and potentially dangerous. This growing suspicion, combined with Philip's mounting financial pressures, set the stage for one of the most dramatic and controversial moments in history: the arrest of the Templars. Philip, seeking to rid himself of both his debts and the threat the Order posed to his rule, began to plot the destruction of the Templar Order. His plan was both bold and ruthless. He would accuse the Templars of heresy, seize their assets, and destroy their influence once and for all. The fact that the Templars were answerable only to the Pope made the situation even more complex. To truly bring down the Order, Philip needed the Church's cooperation. Pope Clement V, a man caught between the conflicting demands of his own spiritual authority and the political pressures of Philip IV, was ultimately forced to comply with the king's demands. In 1307, under the orders of Philip, Templar knights were arrested across France. They were accused of a variety of charges, including heresy, idolatry, and blasphemy. The most shocking of the accusations was that the Templars had renounced Christ and worshipped a mysterious idol, the Baphomet, a symbol of a strange and unholy deity. These charges, many of which were fabricated under torture, led to the eventual trial and execution of hundreds of Templars. Their wealth was seized, their castles and estates confiscated, and the order was effectively dismantled. The Templars' downfall marked the end of an era for medieval Europe. But the implications of their destruction were far-reaching. In many ways, the Templar story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the fragility of even the most formidable institutions. The order had risen to power with the blessing of the Church and the support of monarchs, but in the end, it was brought down by the very forces that had helped create it: the political ambitions of kings and the fear of a secret society too powerful to control. Yet, even in their fall, the Templars did not disappear. The myth of the Templars, their wealth, their secret knowledge, and their connection to the Holy Grail, continued to grow. In the centuries following their destruction, the Templars became a symbol of hidden power and mystery. Some believed that the Templars had not truly been destroyed, but that they had gone underground, their secrets preserved in hidden vaults and cryptic symbols. Others believed that the Templars had left behind a legacy of esoteric knowledge, one that could be unlocked by those who were worthy. The Templar story did not end in 1307. It continued to shape the course of European history, from the rise of secret societies like the Freemasons to the continuing search for lost Templar treasures. Their influence was felt in the most unexpected places, and their symbols and rituals continue to capture the imagination of those who seek to uncover the hidden mysteries of the past. In the centuries that followed, the Templars became the subject of countless myths, legends, and conspiracy theories. Some believed that the Templars had uncovered knowledge that could change the world, a secret that had been buried for centuries. Others believed that the order's downfall had been orchestrated by those who sought to suppress the truth, to silence those who had learned too much. The Templars' financial and political power had made them a target, but it was their secrecy and the rumors surrounding their activities that ensured their legacy would endure. The very secrecy that had led to their downfall was the same secrecy that kept them alive in the collective imagination. What if the Templars had indeed possessed knowledge that was too dangerous for the world to know? What if the true purpose of the order had been something greater than what history has recorded? These questions have haunted historians, treasure hunters, and conspiracy theorists alike for centuries. The Templars' connection to the Grail, their secret rituals, and their mysterious symbols have led many to believe that they were guardians of something far more significant than wealth or political power. Some have speculated that the Templars were the keepers of ancient knowledge, passed down through secret traditions and esoteric teachings. This hidden knowledge, it is said, could unlock the secrets of the universe, the true nature of God, and the mysteries of human existence. As the centuries passed, the Templars' myth continued to grow. The order, though destroyed, became a symbol of resistance against the forces that sought to suppress knowledge and power. The Templars' story is not just the tale of a medieval military order. It is the story of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge, for understanding, and for the power to shape its own destiny. The rise and fall of the Templars is a reminder of the fragile nature of power and the enduring appeal of mystery. Even as the Templars were swept from the pages of history, their legacy lived on, fueling the imaginations of those who sought to uncover the truth behind their rise, their fall, and the secrets they left behind. The Templars' story is not just a part of history. It is a part of the mythic fabric of Western civilization, a tale of power, secrecy, and the eternal search for truth. As the 14th century dawned, the world of the Knights Templar was already crumbling. The order, once so powerful and influential, had been struck down by betrayal, politics, and an insatiable hunger for wealth and power. In the wake of their destruction, the world was left with questions, doubts, and a growing sense of mystery. What had happened to the Templars' vast treasures? What secrets did they possess that were never fully revealed? What, if anything, was left of the once mighty order that had reshaped the medieval world? Though the order was officially disbanded, their story did not fade into oblivion. It morphed into a legend, a mythic tale that continues to captivate and intrigue people to this day. The aftermath of the Templars' disbandment was nothing short of chaotic. King Philip IV of France, who had orchestrated the downfall of the order, was able to seize much of the Templars' wealth and land. The charges of heresy, idolatry, and blasphemy that had been levied against the knights were not substantiated by any conclusive evidence, but they served their purpose. They allowed the king to take control of the order's vast fortunes. However, despite this apparent victory, Philip's actions set off a chain of events that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Though he thought he had eradicated the Templars, their myth persisted, growing in size and scope. For the Church, the aftermath was even more complicated. Pope Clement V had been forced to dissolve the order under pressure from Philip, but he was well aware of the uncertainty that now surrounded the fate of the Templars. The Church itself had been complicit in the destruction of the order, and the very institution that had once protected the Templars now found itself caught between the political ambitions of monarchs and the weight of religious authority. The papacy had issued a decree dissolving the Templars, but the lingering questions about their knowledge, their rituals, and their true purpose continued to trouble the Church for generations. As time passed, the mystery of the Templars only deepened. They became the subject of numerous conspiracy theories, legends, and speculations. In the centuries that followed their disbandment, the Templars were increasingly viewed as the guardians of hidden knowledge, possessing secrets that could unlock the mysteries of the universe. Some believed that they had discovered ancient wisdom during their time in the Holy Land, knowledge that could change the very foundations of Christianity and reshape the course of history. Others speculated that they had uncovered the secret location of the Holy Grail, the legendary Cup of Christ, and had hidden it away for safekeeping. This aura of secrecy and hidden power only grew in the wake of the Templars' downfall. The idea that they had knowledge far beyond what was available to the average person fueled a deep sense of mystery and awe. The Templars' wealth, their esoteric rituals, and their influence over the political landscape of Europe all contributed to their image as a shadowy and powerful force. Yet, despite this enduring mystique, there was no concrete evidence that the Templars had ever possessed the Grail or any other world-altering artifact. This lack of evidence only seemed to fuel the legend, as people began to imagine that the Templars had hidden the truth from the world, keeping their secrets hidden in plain sight. The myth of the Templars' treasure is one of the most enduring aspects of their legacy. After their disbandment, rumors began to spread that the order had hidden vast amounts of wealth and precious relics, including the Holy Grail, in secret locations around Europe. These rumors were not without basis. The Templars were known to have accumulated enormous wealth through their banking operations, land holdings, and successful military ventures. As their fortunes grew, so did the speculation about the true nature of their wealth. Some believed that the Templars had buried their treasure in hidden vaults, concealed within their castles or in remote, inaccessible locations. Others thought that the treasure had been smuggled out of Europe, hidden in distant lands, never to be recovered. One of the most persistent theories about the Templar treasure centers on the idea that it was hidden in the region of Nova Scotia in Canada. According to some accounts, the Templars, in their voyages to the New World, had buried their treasure along the coast, hidden in secret caves or on isolated islands. These theories gained traction in the 19th and 20th centuries, as treasure hunters and adventurers sought to uncover the legendary wealth of the Templars. The belief that the Templars had made their way to North America long before Columbus has remained a powerful part of Templar lore, despite a lack of concrete evidence to support such claims. The idea that the Templars had hidden their treasure in secret locations has become a central part of the order's enduring mystique. It is said that their treasure, wherever it may be, holds the key to unlocking the secrets of the past and the future. This belief in hidden treasure is not limited to physical wealth alone. For many, the treasure is a metaphor for the lost knowledge and ancient wisdom that the Templars may have uncovered during their time in the Holy Land. The idea that they had access to secret knowledge that was too dangerous for the world to know, has kept the Templar legend alive for centuries. The Templars' association with the Holy Grail has only added to the allure of their hidden treasure. The Grail, as a symbol of divine power and eternal life, has captured the imagination of countless generations. The belief that the Templars had possession of the Grail, or that they knew its true location, has fueled the idea that they were keepers of some greater cosmic truth. The Grail, according to legend, is not just a relic of Christ's Last Supper, but a key to unlocking a higher understanding of the divine, a secret that could transform humanity. If the Templars had indeed been the guardians of such a relic, then their treasure would not just be material wealth, but a symbol of ultimate spiritual knowledge. In the centuries following their downfall, the Templars became associated with numerous secret societies, most notably the Freemasons. The idea that the Templars had survived in secret, their traditions and knowledge passed down through generations, became an integral part of Masonic lore. Many Masonic rituals and symbols are said to be derived from the ancient traditions of the Templars, and some believe that the Freemasons are the direct descendants of the Templar order. This connection between the Templars and the Freemasons has only added to the air of secrecy and hidden knowledge that surrounds the order. The Templars, it is said, did not simply disappear after their dissolution. They went underground, keeping their ancient wisdom alive in secret. The Templars' influence also extended into popular culture. Their mythos has been explored in countless books, films, and television shows, from the Da Vinci Code to National Treasure and beyond. The idea of a hidden treasure, a secret society, and a search for forbidden knowledge resonates deeply with audiences, and the Templars have become synonymous with mystery, adventure, and intrigue. Their story has become a modern-day legend, one that blurs the line between history and myth, reality and fiction. The more we learn about the Templars, the more we are drawn into the mystery of who they really were and what they may have known. But despite the enduring allure of their myth, the true nature of the Templars remains shrouded in mystery. What secrets did they truly possess? Did they discover ancient knowledge in the Holy Land? Did they uncover the Holy Grail? Or was it simply a symbol of a higher truth? The answers to these questions may never be fully known, but the legacy of the Templars endures, their story continuing to captivate the minds of those who seek to uncover the hidden truths of the past. Whether as warriors, bankers, or secretive mystics, the Templars have left an indelible mark on history, and their legacy will continue to fascinate and intrigue for generations to come. The legacy of the Knights Templar, though officially extinguished by the trials and persecution that began in 1307, has continued to cast a long shadow over history, one that stretches into the present day. Their influence is felt in many parts of the world, not only in the lingering mystery of their wealth and secret knowledge, but also in the way they have inspired countless myths, legends, and secret societies throughout the centuries. The Templars were, in many ways, ahead of their time, blending religious devotion with military discipline and financial savvy. Their downfall, swift and brutal as it was, only added to their mystique, ensuring that their story would never be fully forgotten. Instead, it would evolve, taking on a life of its own, shaped by both the facts and the fantasies that followed. The accusations against the Templars, heresy, idolatry, blasphemy, were ultimately the product of a highly politicized and opportunistic campaign led by King Philip IV of France. Having accumulated immense debt to the order, and fearing the growing influence of the Templars, Philip sought to eliminate them not only for financial reasons but also because their power had begun to rival that of the crown itself. What began as a raid on the Templars' assets quickly escalated into a smear campaign. Under torture, confessions were extracted from many Templars, and the sensationalist accusations of heresy and devil worship were planted in the public's mind. In the eyes of many, this made the Templars appear not just as victims of royal greed, but as enigmatic figures wrapped in mystery and danger. The myth of the Templars' hidden treasure was born from these accusations. As the knights were arrested and their wealth seized, rumors began to circulate that the Templars had concealed immense fortunes. Some believed the treasure was hidden in cryptic vaults, while others speculated that the wealth had been transported to distant lands. It was said that the Templars had developed an intricate network of secret hiding places, that their treasure was scattered across Europe, concealed beneath the very buildings they had built, or buried beneath the seas, waiting to be uncovered by those clever enough to decipher the secret clues they had left behind. These stories, whether true or not, painted the Templars as keepers of an unimaginable fortune, a legacy that remained elusive, tantalizing, and just out of reach. Despite the lack of physical evidence to support these claims, the notion of hidden treasure persisted, reinforced by books, films, and television programs. The Templars' wealth was not merely the money they had accumulated from their banking ventures or military endeavors. It was the potential of what they might have hidden, ancient artifacts, forbidden knowledge, and, in some cases, the Holy Grail itself. The idea that the Templars had found, guarded, or perhaps even created the Grail is one of the most enduring aspects of the Order's mythos. The Grail, which in some versions of the myth is said to be the vessel that held the blood of Christ, has been interpreted as a symbol of divine knowledge, a key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. For the Templars, if they possessed such a relic, it would explain why they were so determined to protect it. The Grail, according to these myths, was not just a holy object but a symbol of power that could change the world. While the Templars were dismantled by King Philip and his allies, the Order's mystique did not disappear. Instead, it was redefined and absorbed into a new narrative, one that placed them at the heart of secret societies, hidden knowledge, and esoteric teachings. The most prominent of these is the Freemasons. The origins of Freemasonry are shrouded in mystery, but there is a popular belief that the Freemasons are direct descendants of the Templars, carrying forward the knowledge and rituals that the Order had once safeguarded. This connection, whether real or imagined, has played a significant role in maintaining the Templars' legacy as the guardians of ancient wisdom. Freemasonry's symbols, many of which are reminiscent of Templar imagery, such as the compass and square, have fueled speculation that the two organizations shared a common purpose: the preservation of hidden knowledge and the safeguarding of a secret legacy. This connection to secret societies has led to the Templars being viewed not just as warriors or monks but as part of a larger, shadowy network that spans history. The idea that they were secret keepers of knowledge, initiates of an ancient tradition, became a central theme in the myths that followed their downfall. The Templars were no longer just a medieval military order. They were reimagined as timeless guardians of hidden truths, their knowledge and symbols passed down through generations, encoded in rituals, and buried in cryptic texts. Whether or not they truly possess such knowledge is a matter of debate, but the belief in their connection to the mysteries of the past has continued to captivate people for centuries. Throughout history, the Templars have been depicted as symbols of resistance, of those who seek the truth in the face of overwhelming power. This image was perpetuated by various groups, from revolutionary movements to romanticized depictions in literature. The idea that the Templars were martyred by the establishment for their knowledge and their refusal to conform to the established order has made them a powerful symbol of defiance. The very fact that they were dismantled by political power only added to the belief that they were a force for something greater than themselves, that they had been eliminated because they stood in the way of a larger agenda, a hidden truth that the world was not ready to see. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the Templars experienced a resurgence in popular culture. The myths surrounding them were taken up by writers, historians, and occultists, all of whom sought to unlock the mysteries of their secret knowledge. Authors like Dan Brown, in works such as the Da Vinci Code, brought the Templars back into the public consciousness, blending history with fiction in a way that captivated millions of readers. The Templars became central figures in the search for hidden treasures, lost artifacts, and ancient secrets. The notion that they had left behind a legacy of clues, encoded in their symbols and rituals, became a central element of modern adventure stories. Yet, despite the popularity of these theories, the historical reality of the Templars remains elusive. The lack of concrete evidence about their treasure, their rituals, and their connection to the Grail only fuels the speculation. In many ways, the absence of definitive proof has allowed the myth of the Templars to flourish. Their story is open to interpretation, filled with gaps and ambiguities that allow each generation to reimagine the order in new and exciting ways. This has kept the Templars at the center of the search for hidden knowledge, their legacy as a symbol of mystery and power unchanged by the passage of time. As we look back on the Templars' rise and fall, their story remains as much about what we do not know as it is about what we do. The mystery of the Templars is not just a historical enigma. It is a reflection of our own desire for hidden truths, for the idea that there are secrets out there, waiting to be uncovered. The Templars represent something larger than themselves. They embody the quest for knowledge, the pursuit of power, and the hope that there is more to our world than meets the eye. Whether or not they possess the treasures, the knowledge, or the power that history has attributed to them, their story endures, tantalizing and elusive, a reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved. The Templars' story continues to resonate because it taps into universal themes: the tension between power and spirituality, the allure of hidden knowledge, and the idea that those who seek the truth may be punished for their pursuit. Their rise and fall, their connection to the sacred and the profane, their role as both defenders of faith and purveyors of mystery, make them one of the most captivating and enduring figures in history. Even as the world changes, the Templars remain a symbol of both the potential for greatness and the consequences of defying the powers that be. They are, in many ways, the perfect historical enigma, a blend of truth and legend, power and secrecy, that continues to captivate and inspire. The Templars' secretive nature and their intricate web of influence have been subjects of fascination for centuries. As their power and wealth grew, so did the suspicion that they were hiding something far beyond the ordinary wealth of any noble order. The tales surrounding their mysterious disappearance have only added layers to this enigma. What were they protecting? What did they know that others didn't? Many have tried to answer these questions, from historians to conspiracy theorists, but the allure of the Templars' legacy lies in the ambiguity that continues to shroud their true purpose. Were they guardians of an ancient treasure? Were they keepers of forbidden knowledge? Or did their power come from something else entirely? In the wake of their dissolution, the Templars' disappearance from the public eye only fueled the fire of speculation. As the knights were arrested and their assets seized, their land and influence across Europe seemed to vanish overnight. Yet, despite the official end of the order, the myth of the Templars only grew. Over time, their connection to hidden treasures, secret rites, and the legendary Holy Grail became part of the fabric of Western folklore. This aura of secrecy and intrigue surrounding their downfall played a crucial role in the formation of the Templar myth, a myth that blended fact with fiction, creating a narrative that would live on for generations. One of the most compelling aspects of the Templar legend is their supposed connection to the Holy Grail. The Grail, as an object of immense spiritual significance, is more than just a relic. It is a symbol of divine wisdom, eternal life, and secret knowledge. For centuries, it has been sought after by kings, knights, scholars, and treasure hunters alike. Its mythical power is said to be capable of unlocking the mysteries of the universe. What if the Templars, as the most powerful and enigmatic order of their time, had been entrusted with guarding such a sacred object? And what if their connection to the Grail was more than just symbolic? Was the Grail, in fact, a real artifact hidden away by the Templars? Or was it a metaphor for something far more elusive and intangible? While the true location of the Grail remains a mystery, the Templars' role in the Crusades, their time spent in the Holy Land, and their association with the early Christian relics create an intriguing backdrop for the theory that they were in fact its protectors. During their time in Jerusalem, the Templars were entrusted with guarding not just the city, but also its many sacred sites. Jerusalem was a city steeped in religious significance for Christians, Jews, and Muslims alike. Among its most revered objects were the artifacts said to have been used by Christ during his lifetime, including the famous crucifix, relics of saints, and, most notably, the Holy Grail. The notion that the Templars were privy to knowledge of the Grail goes beyond simple speculation. It is rooted in a series of mysterious events and documents that have survived the centuries. In the centuries following the dissolution of the order, rumors began to circulate that the Templars had indeed discovered the Grail, or that they had been in possession of a key that could unlock its location. There are accounts of Templar knights spending considerable time in the Holy Land, studying its ancient sites, deciphering the cryptic symbols left behind by earlier civilizations. Some believed that the Templars' secret knowledge, passed down through generations, was not simply based on religious faith, but was rooted in an understanding of ancient wisdom that could offer them dominion over the physical and spiritual realms. As the years passed, the idea that the Templars had concealed the Grail, or at least the secret to its discovery, began to take hold in popular culture. The notion of a hidden treasure, buried deep within the walls of a castle, concealed beneath the surface of the earth, or locked away in an ancient crypt, resonated with the human imagination. For many, the Grail became more than just a religious artifact. It became a symbol of hidden knowledge, a gateway to something beyond mortal comprehension. And if the Templars had been the ones to uncover or safeguard this knowledge, then they must have been more than just soldiers. They were initiates of an ancient and secret tradition, the custodians of wisdom that was far too dangerous for the world to know. The connection between the Templars and the Grail became even more pronounced in the centuries following the Order's downfall. As Europe plunged into the chaos of the medieval period, the Church's grip on religious and political affairs began to weaken. Kings and monarchs grew in power, while the papacy struggled to maintain its authority. Amidst this turbulence, the Templars' disappearance from the public eye gave rise to a variety of speculative theories, many of which centered on their supposed connection to the Grail. Could the Knights have hidden the Grail away before their downfall? Did they possess the knowledge of its true location, passed down through their rituals and secret codes? This question is complicated by the fact that the Templars were, above all, a religious order devoted to the service of the Church. The possibility that they had gone beyond their religious mission, that they had become embroiled in secret rites and occult knowledge, is an idea that both fascinates and troubles many. If the Templars were indeed involved in practices that strayed from Orthodox Christianity, whether through the veneration of strange symbols or the pursuit of hidden knowledge, then their position as the protectors of the Grail might have been part of a much larger, more complex plan. The idea that the Grail could represent more than just a religious object but rather an ancient source of power and wisdom has sparked numerous theories, some of which point to the Templars as the sole guardians of such a secret. But what was this knowledge, and why was it so dangerous? Theories abound that the Templars were not simply soldiers but initiates of a secret tradition that traced its origins back to the early days of Christianity, and possibly even further, to ancient, pre-Christian mysteries. This knowledge was said to transcend the limitations of religious doctrine and could provide insight into the nature of the universe, the secrets of the divine, and the hidden forces that govern human existence. If the Templars had been privy to such wisdom, then their mission was far more than just the defense of Christendom. They were the keepers of an ancient truth, one that could change the course of human history. The Templars' connection to secret societies, such as the Freemasons, only added to this mystique. The Freemasons, like the Templars, were often associated with esoteric knowledge, hidden rituals, and symbols that pointed to a deeper understanding of reality. This connection is often explored in popular literature, where the Templars are depicted as a secret order that has survived through the ages, passing down their knowledge to future generations. Whether or not the Templars were directly linked to the Freemasons is debatable, but the similarities between the two organizations, particularly in their use of symbols, codes, and rituals, are undeniable. As the centuries passed, the myth of the Templars continued to evolve. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the rise of modern conspiracy theories and a renewed interest in the occult further entrenched the Templars' place in the pantheon of secret societies. Their supposed connection to the Grail, to hidden treasures, and to ancient wisdom became central to many of these theories. The idea that the Templars were involved in secret knowledge that could unlock the mysteries of the universe became a staple of both historical fiction and real-world speculation. This modern-day obsession with the Templars and the Grail is not without merit. The very mystery surrounding the Templars' rise and fall has left a void, a gap that people continue to fill with their own theories, ideas, and interpretations. The question of what the Templars knew, what they may have discovered, and what they left behind remains as potent and unresolved as ever. Were they the guardians of a divine secret, or were they simply a medieval order caught in the tides of history? Could the Templars have uncovered the Grail, or was it merely a symbolic representation of a deeper, hidden truth? The allure of the Templars and their connection to the Grail lies not just in their historic role but in the mystery that surrounds them. The truth may never be fully known, and that uncertainty is what keeps the myth alive. As long as the question remains unanswered, the Templars will continue to captivate the imagination, offering the tantalizing promise of a hidden world just beyond the veil, a world of secrets that still beckons to those who dare to seek it. The centuries following the disbandment of the Knights Templar are marked by a series of efforts to unravel the mysteries surrounding the order. While the official records of the Templars were destroyed, and the order itself wiped from the annals of history, the allure of their story has never truly faded. The Knights, once known for their unwavering dedication to the Holy Land and their vast network of power, are now enshrined in a mythos that transcends history. This mythos has endured not just as a reflection of medieval Christendom but as a symbol of the dangers of unchecked power, the allure of forbidden knowledge, and the complex relationship between secrecy and truth. The Templars, though officially destroyed, did not simply disappear. Their legacy was absorbed by a variety of movements, organizations, and even nations. In fact, the more that was attempted to bury their influence, the more it seemed to spread. The world saw them re-emerge in different guises, their symbols and secrets slowly reappearing throughout history in the form of secret societies, from the Freemasons to the Rosicrucians. These groups, often operating in the shadows of established political and religious structures, have been claimed by many to be the spiritual descendants of the Templars, continuing their mission of protecting hidden knowledge and safeguarding ancient truths. One of the central ideas that has arisen from the myth of the Templars is the concept of lost knowledge, knowledge that could change the world. The Templars were believed to have gained access to secrets during their time in the Holy Land, perhaps even discovering ancient texts, sacred relics, or esoteric wisdom hidden by earlier civilizations. This idea is particularly appealing because it taps into a universal human desire, the longing to understand the unknown, to grasp something beyond the limits of ordinary experience. The thought that a group of men, hidden in plain sight, might have stumbled upon wisdom that has been kept from the world for centuries is intoxicating. The idea that the Templars may have guarded knowledge that was lost to time or suppressed by the Church resonates with the deepest currents of Western thought, where hidden truths are often linked to ultimate power. The search for this lost knowledge has led to the proliferation of various conspiracy theories surrounding the Templars. Some of these theories propose that the Templars uncovered ancient Christian manuscripts that, if revealed, would shake the foundations of the Church itself. Others suggest that they had stumbled upon long-forgotten truths from antiquity, wisdom passed down from the ancient Egyptians or even the pre-Christian civilizations that existed long before the rise of Rome. These ideas have evolved in the centuries since the Templars' fall, with some suggesting that their secret knowledge has been passed down through the ages, preserved by hidden societies that continue to shape world events from the shadows. One of the most popular narratives about the Templars' secret knowledge is their supposed connection to the Holy Grail. This legendary artifact, associated with Christ's bloodline and the most coveted of Christian relics, has been at the center of many Templar-related myths. The idea that the Templars were the guardians of the Grail is a compelling one, as it connects the Knights to both the divine and the secretive, bridging the gap between faith and mysticism. According to some versions of the story, the Grail was not just a physical object, but a vessel containing the bloodline of Christ, which in turn carried the keys to a hidden legacy of divine power. The Templars, as the keepers of this sacred artifact, are portrayed as holding the key to an esoteric knowledge that could reshape humanity's understanding of its spiritual destiny. But the story of the Grail is not just a religious one. It also has deep roots in the idea of lost or hidden knowledge. Throughout history, the Grail has come to symbolize not only divine wisdom but also the potential for human transformation. In this light, the Templars are seen as more than just warriors for the Christian faith. They are custodians of a secret truth that could reveal the mysteries of the universe. Their secrecy, their cryptic rituals, and their intricate network of influence are often viewed as efforts to protect this knowledge from those who would misuse it or suppress it altogether. The idea of the Templars' connection to the Grail has been propagated in many forms, most notably through the work of writers and historians in the modern era. The Templar myth was revived in the 19th and 20th centuries, with authors like Henry Lincoln and Michael Bygent, in their work The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, presenting the theory that the Templars had indeed discovered the Grail and that its knowledge had been hidden for centuries. This theory, which posits that the Grail is not a cup but rather a bloodline, has become central to the modern Templar mythos, shaping much of the contemporary narrative surrounding the order. One of the most important aspects of these modern theories is the notion that the Templars were part of a much larger, secret tradition. This tradition, which includes organizations like the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians, is believed by some to have been built upon the foundations laid by the Templars. These societies, in turn, are thought to have continued the Templars' work of safeguarding ancient wisdom, using esoteric rituals and symbols to pass down their knowledge from generation to generation. The Templar legend has become intertwined with these groups, creating a web of mystery that extends far beyond the medieval period. For some, the Templars are seen not just as medieval knights but as pioneers of an ancient and continuous tradition of secret societies. The notion that the Templars' secrets have been passed down through various organizations is a powerful one, as it suggests that the knowledge they uncovered is still accessible to those who are initiated into the right circles. The Templars' symbols, their use of sacred geometry, and their intricate rituals are often seen as part of a hidden code that unlocks the secrets of the universe, guiding those who are worthy to a deeper understanding of reality. However, this belief in the Templars' continued influence is not limited to modern secret societies. Some theorists argue that the order's influence can still be felt in the world today, suggesting that the Templars have played a role in shaping political events, economic systems, and even the fate of nations. The idea that the Templars' hidden knowledge continues to influence the course of history adds another layer to the mystery surrounding their legacy. The fact that the order was so thoroughly dismantled by Philip IV of France, and yet its myth lives on, suggests that there may be something inherently powerful in the idea of secret knowledge, something that continues to resonate in the present. Yet, as much as the Templars have inspired modern mythology, there is also a deeply human side to their story. The Knights, after all, were not simply guardians of hidden knowledge or mystical relics. They were men who believed in something larger than themselves. They were part of a tradition that sought to protect the weak, defend the faith, and serve the ideals of chivalry. Their rise and fall are a reflection of the complexities of power, faith, and human ambition. While their myth may be steeped in mystery, their story is also one of human frailty, of men who were drawn into a web of politics, greed, and betrayal, and who ultimately paid the price for it. For those who have sought to understand the true nature of the Templars, the challenge lies in separating fact from fiction. While their story has been obscured by centuries of myth-making, the Templars' actual history is one of ambition, faith, and secrecy. Theirs is a legacy that continues to inspire not only historical inquiry but also the human imagination, as their tale serves as a timeless reflection of humanity's desire for power, knowledge, and transcendence. Whether or not the Templars possess the Grail or any other hidden treasure, their story has become one of the greatest mysteries in history, a mystery that continues to captivate and intrigue generation after generation. And as long as the search for the Templars' secrets continues, so too will their legend endure, echoing through the corridors of time. As we delve deeper into the enigma of the Knights Templar, we find that their legacy is not just shaped by the immediate aftermath of their dissolution, but also by the way their story was reinterpreted, reimagined, and woven into the fabric of both historical and cultural narratives over the centuries. The story of their rise, their meteoric power, and their sudden fall from grace created an enduring mystery that continues to haunt the imagination of historians, occultists, and conspiracy theorists alike. The Templars were not only feared for their military prowess and wealth but also for the perceived secrets they guarded. These secrets, whether tangible or symbolic, became the center of a growing legend that spiraled out of control, with each retelling and reinterpretation fueling the myth further. The legend of the Templars has been shaped by the cultural currents of each era, often mirroring the anxieties, hopes, and obsessions of the times. During the Renaissance, the Templars were reimagined as enlightened warriors, holding the key to the mysteries of the past and future. This notion was reinforced by the resurgence of interest in ancient texts, alchemy, and occult knowledge. The Templars' alleged role in protecting hidden wisdom tied them to the growing body of esoteric thought that would later find its way into the works of figures like Isaac Newton, who was deeply involved in alchemical studies and other secret traditions. This period marked the Templars' transition from a medieval military order into symbols of mysticism, knowledge, and resistance to the forces of orthodoxy. The 18th century saw the rise of Freemasonry, and with it, the idea that the Templars had passed down their knowledge and rituals to these new secret societies. Masonic imagery, such as the all-seeing eye and the compass and square, began to be associated with the Templars, and many believed that the Freemasons were the true heirs to the Templar tradition. This belief further entrenched the idea that the Templars were not merely a military order but were protectors of an ancient, hidden truth that had been passed down through the generations. The Templars, in this light, became not just a historical curiosity but a touchstone for the exploration of hidden knowledge, secret societies, and the mysteries of the universe. Their connection to Freemasonry and other secret societies became a cornerstone of Templar mythology. The rise of Romanticism in the 19th century further elevated the Templars as figures of mystery and allure. Writers and poets began to explore the Templars' connection to the sacred, to the divine, and to forbidden knowledge. In this era, the Templars were no longer seen simply as warriors of the Crusades, but as mystics, guardians of lost secrets, and initiates into an ancient tradition that transcended the boundaries of religion and time. The Templars became symbols of defiance against oppressive powers, both secular and religious. Their apparent martyrdom in the face of political betrayal, led by King Philip IV and Pope Clement V, lent them an air of tragic heroism, and they became emblematic of the idea that the truth is often suppressed by those in power. The Templars' downfall, brutal and sudden, began to be seen not just as a political event but as a cosmic struggle between the forces of knowledge and the forces of repression. But perhaps the most lasting and powerful aspect of the Templar myth is their alleged connection to the Holy Grail. Over the centuries, the Grail has evolved from being a simple religious artifact into a symbol of divine wisdom, hidden knowledge, and even spiritual power. In the medieval period, the Grail was seen as the cup used by Christ during the Last Supper, and later as a vessel capable of granting immortality and divine favor. For the Templars, the idea of the Grail was likely tied to their role as protectors of sacred sites and relics. The notion that they were guardians of such a powerful symbol has been explored in numerous works of fiction, from medieval romances to modern thrillers. The Grail, in these works, is often depicted as something more than just a relic. It is a key to unlocking the deepest mysteries of existence, and the Templars, as its protectors, are seen as initiates into a hidden world of divine knowledge. The idea that the Templars were not merely warriors but keepers of this profound knowledge plays into a larger narrative of the Knights as intermediaries between the earthly realm and the divine. The Grail was believed to possess otherworldly powers, and if the Templars were indeed its guardians, then they would have been the keepers of the ultimate secret, a secret that could alter the course of history and reveal the true nature of human existence. In this light, the Templars' downfall is not just a tragedy of political intrigue and greed, but a story of the suppression of ultimate truth by powerful forces determined to maintain control. The Templars' supposed possession of the Grail, or at least their connection to its secrets, placed them at the center of a cosmic struggle between the forces of light and darkness, truth and deception. As the centuries wore on, the Templar myth continued to evolve. In the 20th century, the mythos surrounding the Templars exploded in popular culture, thanks in part to works like The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, which reintroduced the Templars to a global audience. In Brown's fictional narrative, the Templars are portrayed as the keepers of the secret to the Holy Grail, which is not a physical object but a symbol of a sacred bloodline. The idea that the Grail represents a bloodline descended from Christ himself, rather than a simple relic, is a key element of modern Templar mythology. This concept has found a wide audience and continues to shape the way we think about the Templars today. In the popular imagination, the Templars are no longer just a medieval order, but part of a secretive, centuries-old conspiracy to protect a divine truth that could revolutionize our understanding of religion, history, and the human race. The Templar myth has also been intertwined with the modern fascination with conspiracy theories, especially those related to the Illuminati, Freemasons, and other secret societies. Many modern conspiracy theorists claim that the Templars did not disappear in the 14th century but rather went underground, continuing their work in secret. These theories suggest that the Templars' influence can still be felt in the world today, particularly in the form of shadowy organizations that wield unseen power over global events. According to these theories, the Templars' secrets have been carefully guarded and passed down through the generations, hidden within various institutions and symbols. This has led to a renewed interest in the Templars and their supposed legacy, with many people believing that the Order's ancient knowledge still holds the key to understanding the true nature of power and truth in the modern world. This fascination with the Templars has also sparked a growing interest in the occult and esoteric traditions, as people seek to uncover the hidden knowledge that the Templars are believed to have possessed. The Templars are often seen as the archetypal keepers of such knowledge, their rituals and symbols acting as a guide to those seeking to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Whether it's through their alleged connection to alchemy, sacred geometry, or ancient wisdom, the Templars have come to symbolize the pursuit of hidden knowledge and the quest for deeper understanding. What makes the Templar myth so enduring is not just the mystery of their secrets, but the way in which they resonate with the universal human desire to uncover hidden truths. The Templars' story is one of ambition, power, faith, and betrayal, but it's also a story of humanity's search for meaning and purpose. Their legend, shaped by centuries of reinterpretation and myth-making, speaks to our collective yearning for something greater than ourselves, a truth that transcends the ordinary, that connects us to something divine and eternal. In the end, the mystery of the Templars is not just about what they did or did not possess, but about the way in which their story continues to inspire, provoke, and captivate, as it touches on the deepest questions of human existence. The Templars, in their secrecy, their rise and fall, and their connection to the unknown, remain a symbol of the eternal human quest for truth. The continued fascination with the Knights Templar has, over time, become inextricably linked to their supposed connection to powerful secrets, hidden treasures, and esoteric knowledge. Their story has evolved into a rich tapestry woven from historical fact, myth, and speculation, blending together to form a narrative that is more captivating than any single account of their rise and fall could be. The mystery surrounding their lost treasure, their connection to the Holy Grail, and their enigmatic disappearance has left the world in a perpetual state of wonder and awe. For centuries, these knights have been seen as the custodians of something far greater than material wealth. They were believed to hold keys to the sacred and divine, the knowledge of the cosmos itself, and even, according to some, the very secrets of the creation of the universe. But as much as the myth of the Templars has been built upon their role as keepers of ancient knowledge, the story that has been constructed around them raises questions about the nature of power, truth, and the secrets that mankind has always strived to uncover. The idea that the Templars were guardians of a sacred treasure, particularly the Holy Grail, is one of the most enduring elements of their legend. The Grail, a symbol that has transcended Christian mythology, has come to represent much more than a religious relic. It embodies the ultimate prize, an object of both spiritual and material significance, representing not only divine favor, but also the ultimate understanding of existence itself. The idea that the Templars were in possession of such an artifact, or had the knowledge of its location, has driven much of the speculation surrounding the order. Over the centuries, writers, historians, and conspiracy theorists have built on this idea, often expanding it beyond its original religious significance and into the realm of hidden knowledge and mystical power. The notion that the Grail was not simply a cup used by Christ at the Last Supper, but a more profound and mysterious object, has gained considerable traction in modern interpretations of the Templar legend. In this context, the Grail is often portrayed as a symbol of hidden knowledge, one that holds the key to understanding the deeper mysteries of the universe. This interpretation aligns with the idea that the Templars, as a monastic order dedicated to both warfare and spiritual devotion, were not simply warriors but also scholars, initiates into a secret tradition that sought to preserve and protect ancient wisdom. This ancient knowledge, many have speculated, was the true treasure of the Templars, and their role in guarding it was far more than just physical. It was spiritual, intellectual, and metaphysical. Over time, the search for the Templars' treasure has become synonymous with a quest for enlightenment. For some, this treasure was material, the vast wealth of the Templars, hidden away from the eyes of the world. For others, it was something far more intangible. The idea that the Templars were protectors of sacred knowledge has given rise to the belief that they were the heirs of a hidden tradition that could unlock the secrets of life, the universe, and everything in it. This tradition, some theorists suggest, stretches back far beyond Christianity, connecting the Templars to ancient civilizations, secret societies, and the occult. Some believe the Templars had access to knowledge passed down from the ancient Egyptians, the Sumerians, or even pre-dynastic cultures, wisdom that had been kept hidden from the world in order to prevent its abuse. This search for lost knowledge has persisted throughout history, with each new generation trying to unravel the mystery of the Templars. The rise of Freemasonry, in particular, has been central to the idea that the Templars' knowledge was passed down through secret societies. The Freemasons, with their elaborate rituals, symbols, and codes, are often believed to be the modern inheritors of the Templars' legacy. The connection between the two organizations is a matter of speculation, with some theorists suggesting that the Freemasons were directly descended from the Templars, while others argue that they simply inherited the Templar tradition of secrecy, esotericism, and the pursuit of hidden knowledge. This connection has led to the widespread belief that the Templars' knowledge was not just physical or religious but also metaphysical. Some theorists have proposed that the Templars possessed knowledge of sacred geometry, astrology, alchemy, and other mystical traditions, knowledge that could, in theory, unlock the secrets of the universe and even grant mastery over time and space. The Templars' cryptic symbols and rituals have been the subject of much study, with many believing that these symbols hold the key to understanding the true nature of the world and our place in it. The Freemasons, in particular, have been associated with these symbols, and the idea that the Templars passed on their esoteric knowledge to the Freemasons has become a cornerstone of Templar mythology. The belief that the Templars were in possession of such profound knowledge has also led to theories about their role in shaping the course of human history. Some claim that the Templars, operating from the shadows, were instrumental in influencing world events, using their knowledge and resources to guide the course of civilization. Whether through political maneuvering, financial influence, or the manipulation of secret societies, the Templars are often depicted as hidden architects of history, their influence extending far beyond the confines of medieval Europe. This view aligns with the idea that the Templars were not just warriors and monks but masters of a secret, world-altering knowledge, one that allowed them to shape the fate of nations and empires. But the idea of the Templars as shadowy figures manipulating history is not without its critics. Some argue that much of the mystique surrounding the Templars is built upon misunderstandings, exaggerations, and outright fabrications. The order was, after all, a medieval institution with its own political and religious motivations, and while its members were undoubtedly powerful, they were still subject to the same forces that shaped the world around them. The idea that the Templars were involved in a centuries-long conspiracy to control world events or protect hidden knowledge may be an appealing narrative, but it remains, for many, just that, a narrative, not a historical fact. The real legacy of the Templars, some scholars argue, lies not in their supposed occult knowledge or their role in secret societies, but in the tangible contributions they made to medieval society, including their involvement in the Crusades, their development of banking systems, and their role in the growth of European cities and economies. Despite these criticisms, the myth of the Templars persists, in part because it speaks to the universal human fascination with hidden knowledge and the search for deeper meaning. The Templars, as figures caught between the religious devotion of their monastic life and the material power they wielded, represent a fascinating paradox. They were both agents of faith and masters of wealth, defenders of the Holy Land and possessors of secrets that could, in theory, alter the course of history. It is this combination of religious devotion, military prowess, and enigmatic secrecy that has captured the imagination of generations, ensuring that the Templars' legacy endures in both popular culture and historical inquiry. As the centuries pass, the search for the Templars' lost treasure and hidden knowledge continues to inspire countless adventurers, scholars, and mystics. The enduring allure of the Templars, their wealth, their secrets, and their connection to ancient traditions, serves as a reminder of our deep-rooted desire to uncover the unknown, to pierce the veil that separates us from the mysteries of the past. Whether or not the Templars possessed the vast treasures and profound wisdom that have been attributed to them, their legacy endures as a symbol of humanity's unending quest for truth, knowledge, and understanding. The myth of the Templars is not just a relic of the past. It is a reflection of our own ongoing search for meaning in a world that often seems to be shrouded in mystery. And as long as this search continues, the Templars will remain an enduring presence in the stories we tell ourselves about history, power, and the secrets that still lie hidden, waiting to be discovered. Section 12 KO expand Caro 1500 plus words Ma English Ma without any headings and numbers the Knights Templar, an order that rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most powerful and enigmatic organizations in medieval history, continues to captivate the collective imagination of humanity. Their story, marked by religious fervor, military conquest, and a mysterious downfall, is one that intertwines historical events with myth, secretive knowledge, and the pursuit of power. While much of what we know about the Templars is steeped in legend and the ambiguities of history, certain elements of their narrative have been etched into the fabric of Western consciousness. At the core of the Templars' legacy is the tension between their spiritual mission as defenders of Christianity and their growing accumulation of wealth, power, and influence, which in the end may have sealed their fate. The Templars began as a small group of knights dedicated to protecting Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. Their initial purpose was simple: provide safety in an environment that was both hostile and perilous. But as they established their strongholds in the Holy Land, their mission expanded. With the backing of European monarchs and the Church, the Templars quickly grew into a powerful military order. Their sacred vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience transformed them into an elite force, one that commanded respect across Europe. Yet, paradoxically, their vow of poverty did not stop them from amassing vast wealth. The Templars developed a sophisticated banking system, establishing a network of financial operations across Europe that gave them immense influence over the economies of kingdoms. Their wealth was tied not only to land and treasure but also to the trust they built as financial stewards for kings, bishops, and other powerful figures. It was this wealth that made them both invaluable allies and dangerous enemies. Their connection to the Church was central to their success, but it also created tensions. In theory, the Templars were supposed to answer directly to the Pope, free from the control of kings and bishops. This unique position gave them a degree of autonomy that many monarchs resented. The order was able to act as a semi-independent force within Christendom, loyal only to the Vatican. This lack of oversight gave them the freedom to amass power in a way that other religious orders could not. But with power came suspicion. The Templars' immense wealth, their secrecy, and their connections to various royal families began to arouse envy, both from within the Church and from secular rulers. The myth of their involvement in secretive rites, their control over vast swaths of land, and their growing political influence made them a convenient target for those who felt threatened by their power. The eventual downfall of the Templars is a tale of betrayal, political maneuvering, and the ruthless consolidation of power. In the early 14th century, the Templars found themselves caught in a web of political intrigue, as King Philip IV of France saw an opportunity to destroy the order and seize their vast assets. Philip, deeply indebted to the Templars and seeking to expand his own wealth and influence, orchestrated a campaign to eliminate the Knights. On Friday, October 13, 1307, the king ordered the arrest of all Templar knights in France, accusing them of heresy, blasphemy, and other crimes. This infamous event, which has given rise to the superstition surrounding the number 13, marked the beginning of the Templars' fall from grace. The charges against the Templars were largely fabricated, but the political and economic motives behind their persecution were clear. In the trials that followed, many Templars were tortured into confessing to the charges, including accusations of idol worship, sodomy, and the desecration of sacred rites. These confessions were obtained under duress, and their veracity has been widely questioned. Yet, the charges stuck, and the once mighty order was disbanded, its leaders arrested, tried, and executed. Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master of the Templars, was burned at the stake in 1314, marking the symbolic end of the order. However, the Templars did not simply vanish. Their wealth, their influence, and their secrets did not disappear overnight. In the aftermath of the Templars' destruction, many speculated about what had happened to their wealth and knowledge. With the order disbanded, the fate of the Templar treasure became one of the most enduring mysteries in history. Some believed that the Templars had hidden their riches before their downfall, hiding them away in secret locations, waiting for the day when they could be rediscovered. Others speculated that the Templars had left behind coded messages, secret maps, or other clues that would lead to their lost treasure. The idea of a hidden Templar treasure, buried deep within secret locations across Europe, became the stuff of legend. Over the centuries, treasure hunters, historians, and even governments have attempted to uncover the mystery. But the treasure, if it ever existed, has never been found. While the treasure remained elusive, the Templars' association with hidden knowledge and esoteric secrets continued to grow. The Order's ritualistic practices, their use of symbols and codes, and their supposed connection to the ancient wisdom of the Egyptians and other civilizations led to the belief that the Templars were guardians of a profound and secret tradition. Some believed they were protectors of sacred knowledge, passed down from the ancient world, that had the power to unlock the mysteries of the universe. The idea that the Templars had access to a hidden truth, a truth that could change the course of history, fueled the rise of various conspiracy theories. One of the most enduring theories is that the Templars were guardians of the Holy Grail. This legendary artifact, which has captured the imagination of people for centuries, is often seen as a symbol of divine wisdom and hidden knowledge. According to some theories, the Grail was not just a cup used by Christ during the Last Supper but a powerful symbol of a secret bloodline, a lost dynasty that descended from Jesus Christ himself. This bloodline, some believed, had been preserved by the Templars, who were tasked with protecting it from those who would seek to destroy it. The idea that the Templars were the keepers of such a sacred secret, one that had the potential to alter humanity's understanding of religion and history, has been a powerful driver of the Templar mythos. In addition to their connection to the Grail, the Templars have also been linked to other esoteric traditions, including the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians. The symbols and rituals of these secret societies are often seen as deriving from the Templar tradition, with many believing that the Templars passed down their secret knowledge to these groups. The Freemasons, in particular, have been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories that suggest they are the true heirs to the Templar legacy, continuing their work in secret, safeguarding knowledge that has the potential to reshape the world. The idea that the Templars were not just a medieval military order, but part of an ancient tradition of hidden knowledge has fascinated countless individuals over the years, and their supposed connection to modern secret societies only adds to the allure of their mystery. The enduring power of the Templar myth lies in its ability to tap into universal themes. The pursuit of knowledge, the desire for power, the conflict between faith and reason, and the belief that hidden truths lie just beyond the reach of ordinary people. The Templars' rise to power, their sudden fall, and the mystery surrounding their lost treasure and hidden knowledge have made them the subject of countless books, films, and documentaries. In the end, the question remains, what did the Templars know, and what secrets did they leave behind? Was their downfall the result of political betrayal and greed, or were they destroyed because they had discovered something too powerful to be allowed to exist? The legacy of the Templars continues to inspire curiosity and speculation, and their story remains one of the most captivating mysteries in history. As the centuries pass, the myth of the Templars will likely continue to evolve, taking on new forms and meanings as different generations seek to understand their role in the grand narrative of history. Whether they were guardians of the Grail, protectors of ancient wisdom, or simply a group of knights caught in the tumult of medieval politics, the Templars will forever remain a symbol of the unknown. Theirs is a story that transcends the boundaries of history and myth, a story that speaks to humanity's deepest desires for power, truth, and understanding. In the end, the Templars' greatest legacy may not be their wealth, their military prowess, or even their supposed connection to the Grail, but the mystery that surrounds them. A mystery that continues to captivate and intrigue, inviting us to explore the secrets of the past and, perhaps, to uncover the truths that have been hidden for so long. The allure of the Knights Templar has never waned. Over centuries, they have become both a historical enigma and a symbol of the hidden truths that humankind has always yearned to uncover. Their rise from humble origins in the early 12th century to becoming one of the most powerful and wealthiest organizations in Christendom is a story of faith, ambition, betrayal, and mystery. But it is their downfall in the early 14th century that cemented their place in history as a group shrouded in secrets. In their destruction, the Templars' wealth, their knowledge, and their ultimate fate became the subject of speculation, giving rise to an ever-growing legend that would not only survive for centuries but would expand and evolve into a web of complex myths and conspiracies. At the heart of this enduring legend is the concept of what the Templars truly represented, and more importantly, what they may have known or guarded. Their history was marked by a duality: their role as devout warriors of Christ and their simultaneous accumulation of wealth, power, and influence. The tension between these aspects of their identity became a central element in their eventual demise. The order's sudden fall from grace was not only a political tragedy but a theological and philosophical one, as it raised questions about faith, knowledge, and the very nature of power itself. The idea that the Templars possessed hidden knowledge, that they may have been privy to ancient secrets or even divine truths, is a theme that has resonated throughout history. The Templars, as an organization, were founded with a mission to protect Christian pilgrims journeying to the Holy Land during the Crusades. However, their commitment to this religious cause quickly gave way to a much larger and more complex agenda. As the Templars grew in strength and wealth, they acquired vast land holdings, built castles and fortresses, and established a sophisticated banking system that allowed them to amass considerable financial power. Their role as protectors of sacred relics, including their famous association with the Holy Grail, further entrenched their mystique. While their military prowess and wealth were indisputable, it was their mysterious connection to the Grail, to lost knowledge, and to secret traditions that fueled speculation about their true purpose. This notion of hidden knowledge has been central to the mythology surrounding the Templars for centuries. Some believe that the Templars discovered or inherited profound esoteric wisdom while on their missions in the Holy Land. They are often depicted as possessing knowledge of ancient civilizations, secret manuscripts, or even divine revelations. This speculation grew over time, especially after their disbandment in the early 14th century, when their treasure and secrets seemed to vanish into thin air. What they had discovered, what they had protected, and where their wealth was hidden became the subjects of fervent speculation and myth-making. The most famous of these myths is the connection between the Templars and the Holy Grail. The Grail, which has transcended its role as a Christian relic and has become a symbol of hidden truth and divine knowledge, became inextricably linked to the Templars' legacy. According to some legends, the Templars were not merely protectors of the Grail but its true guardians. In these tales, the Grail is not just a cup used by Christ at the Last Supper, but a profound symbol of a secret bloodline, a lost dynasty, or even a key to unlocking divine mysteries. The idea that the Grail holds such power suggests that those who possess it, like the Templars, hold the keys to spiritual and cosmic knowledge. Some theorists believe that the Templars did not simply protect the Grail but understood its true nature, its power, and its significance in a way that was far beyond what was known to the public or even to the Church. This connection to the Grail is compounded by the idea that the Templars were part of a larger esoteric tradition, one that transcended the boundaries of medieval Christendom. Many writers and historians, especially in the modern era, have suggested that the Templars' mysteries were not entirely Christian but were influenced by ancient wisdom from other cultures, wisdom that could have originated in Egypt, Mesopotamia, or even the distant pre-Christian world. The Templars, as an order rooted in the Crusades, were exposed to various ancient cultures, many of which were known for their esoteric and occult practices. Some suggest that the Templars, in their travels, encountered secret knowledge that had been lost to the Western world, knowledge that could explain the deeper mysteries of existence, the universe, and humanity's place within it. As the centuries passed and the Templars' official history was largely erased, their story became a canvas for speculation and myth-making. In the wake of their dissolution, the surviving members of the Templar order were scattered, and their treasure was never fully recovered. Many believed that the wealth of the Templars was hidden away, that their treasure was too vast and too valuable to simply disappear. Some suggested that the Templars had left behind cryptic clues or hidden maps that could lead to their treasure. These stories sparked the imagination of countless treasure hunters, and their quest to uncover the lost riches of the Templars has remained a focal point of mystery to this day. But the treasure of the Templars is not merely a matter of gold, silver, and precious jewels. The real treasure, for many, lies in the knowledge that the Templars may have possessed, the secrets that they were believed to have guarded so carefully. This is where the Templars' story begins to intersect with the broader history of secret societies and the occult. Many modern conspiracy theories suggest that the Templars passed down their knowledge and rituals to other secretive organizations, such as the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and the Illuminati. These organizations, in turn, are thought to have carried the Templars' esoteric traditions forward into the modern era, perpetuating their mysteries and guarding the knowledge they once held. Some of these theories even claim that the Templars' hidden knowledge continues to shape world events, as the descendants of the original order continue to work behind the scenes to influence politics, religion, and global power structures. This connection to secret societies has further fueled the myth of the Templars as guardians of profound knowledge. The imagery of the Templars, knights dressed in white mantles adorned with the Red Cross, has become iconic, representing not only the chivalric ideals of the medieval world, but also a deeper, hidden truth. The symbols associated with the Templars, such as the cross, the sword, and the compass, have been adopted by many secret societies over the centuries, further entrenching their connection to the mysteries of the past. These symbols are often seen as codes, with each representing a piece of hidden knowledge that only those initiated into these societies can truly understand. The belief that the Templars' knowledge has been passed down through secret societies also ties into a larger cultural fascination with the idea of a hidden history that lies beneath the surface of the official narratives. The Templars, in this sense, represent a break from the accepted version of history, a history written by those in power. The Templars, as the supposed protectors of secret knowledge, represent the idea that there are truths that have been deliberately hidden from the public, and that by uncovering these truths, humanity can achieve a higher understanding of the world and its place in the universe. This idea is central to many conspiracy theories, which argue that those in power have intentionally suppressed knowledge in order to maintain control over the masses. For many, the Templar myth speaks to a deeper yearning for hidden knowledge, a desire to uncover the truths that have been obscured by time, politics, and religion. The Templars, as both a medieval military order and a symbol of ancient wisdom, embody the tension between the sacred and the profane, the visible and the invisible. They are seen as both warriors and sages, protectors of the divine and keepers of secrets that could change the course of history. The fact that their treasure and knowledge were never fully recovered, and that their legacy continues to be the subject of speculation, only adds to the mystique surrounding them. Their story is one of both triumph and tragedy, a narrative that raises fundamental questions about the nature of power, knowledge, and truth. As we look back on the history of the Templars, it is clear that their legacy is more than just a collection of historical facts or myths. It is a story that continues to inspire fascination, speculation, and a search for meaning. The Templars, in their rise and fall, represent the human desire to seek out hidden truths, to uncover the mysteries of the past, and to understand the forces that shape our world. Their story, one that blends history with legend, will continue to captivate the imagination of generations to come, as people search for the secrets that the Templars are believed to have left behind. The mystery of the Knights Templar has, over the centuries, become one of the most compelling and enduring tales in the annals of history. Their origins, their rise to power, and their mysterious downfall have captivated the minds of scholars, conspiracy theorists, and treasure hunters alike. At the core of the Templar myth is the question of what the knights knew, what secrets they guarded, and why their influence was so threatening to the powers of the time. Their existence transcended the realm of mere military and religious order. It became entangled with the broader human quest for hidden knowledge, esoteric wisdom, and a deeper understanding of the universe itself. But while the Templars' story is often romanticized, it also represents the darker side of power, greed, and betrayal that runs through human history. The rise of the Knights Templar began in the early 12th century, during the Crusades. At that time, Christian Europe had launched a series of military campaigns in the Holy Land with the goal of recapturing Jerusalem from Muslim control. In the wake of these wars, the Templars were founded, originally as a small group of knights tasked with protecting Christian pilgrims on their way to Jerusalem. However, as the Crusades progressed, the Templars quickly grew in both power and influence. They were granted lands, wealth, and exemptions from local laws by the church, allowing them to flourish as both a military and financial power. By the early 13th century, they had become one of the wealthiest and most powerful organizations in medieval Europe. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Templars' rise to power was their ability to maintain such wealth and influence while still adhering to the principles of monastic life. They took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, yet their influence in the political, financial, and military realms was unparalleled. Their banking system, for example, allowed them to facilitate the transfer of funds across Europe and the Holy Land, making them indispensable to kings, nobles, and the church. They controlled vast tracts of land, built fortresses and castles, and were seen as a force to be reckoned with. This paradox, their spiritual vows and their immense wealth, created a sense of unease among both secular rulers and religious authorities, as it challenged the accepted norms of power and authority. But as the Templars grew more powerful, they also grew more secretive. They became increasingly enigmatic, leading to widespread speculation about the nature of their activities. Their secrecy, coupled with their vast wealth and influence, fueled rumors about their involvement in hidden rites, forbidden knowledge, and even occult practices. Over time, the Templars became associated with a number of myths and legends, including their alleged connection to the Holy Grail, their role in protecting ancient secrets, and their involvement in the development of secret societies. The most famous of these myths is the connection between the Templars and the Holy Grail. In the medieval period, the Grail was believed to be a powerful and sacred relic, one that had the ability to bestow divine grace upon its possessor. Some believed that the Grail was not merely a cup used by Christ at the Last Supper, but a symbol of hidden wisdom and secret knowledge. According to various theories, the Templars were the true guardians of the Grail, protecting it from those who sought to misuse its power. This notion, though speculative, has persisted throughout the centuries and has been a central element in the Templar legend. The idea that the Templars were protectors of the Grail ties into a larger narrative about their role as guardians of hidden knowledge. The Templars were not simply a military order, but were also seen as initiates into an ancient and mysterious tradition. Some theorists suggest that the Templars were privy to secrets passed down from ancient civilizations, such as Egypt or Babylon, and that they were stewards of esoteric knowledge that had the potential to unlock the mysteries of the universe. This secret knowledge, they believed, was the true treasure of the Templars, far more valuable than gold or land. And it was this knowledge that some believe made them so dangerous to the ruling powers of the time. In the early 14th century, the Templars' once unassailable position began to unravel. The decline of the order came at the hands of King Philip IV of France, who, deeply indebted to the Templars, sought to eliminate them as a financial threat. In 1307, Philip ordered the arrest of all Templar knights in France, accusing them of heresy, blasphemy, and a host of other crimes. These charges were largely fabricated, but they were enough to tarnish the Templars' reputation and lead to their eventual dissolution by Pope Clement V. The Templars were disbanded, their leaders arrested and executed, and their wealth and assets seized. Yet, even as the order was destroyed, the myth of the Templars did not die. Instead, it took on a new life, one that was more potent and enduring than ever before. In the centuries that followed, the Templars became the subject of countless conspiracy theories, many of which centered around the idea that the knights had hidden their wealth and knowledge before their downfall. Some believed that the Templars had buried their treasure in secret locations, waiting for the day when they could reclaim it. Others speculated that the order had left behind clues, maps, and secret codes that would eventually lead to the discovery of their hidden riches. This quest for the lost Templar treasure became a defining feature of the Templar myth, and over time, the belief that the knights had buried their wealth only served to deepen the mystery. The Templars' connection to secret knowledge also continued to grow in importance. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the rise of secret societies, such as the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians, further entrenched the idea that the Templars had passed down their esoteric wisdom to these groups. Many of the symbols and rituals associated with Freemasonry, for example, are believed to have their roots in Templar traditions. Some conspiracy theorists even claim that the Templars survived in secret, continuing their work behind the scenes, manipulating world events and shaping history from the shadows. In this view, the Templars were not merely a medieval organization, but a secret society that had transcended time, remaining an active force throughout the centuries. The idea of the Templars as secretive agents operating in the shadows of history is a theme that has captured the imagination of countless individuals. Over the years, the Templars have been linked to various historical events, such as the founding of the United States, the rise of global financial institutions, and even the orchestration of major wars and revolutions. According to some theories, the Templars were behind the formation of the Illuminati, an alleged secret society with plans to control world affairs. The notion that the Templars have been secretly shaping global events for centuries is one that persists today, with many people believing that the Order's influence is still felt in the world today. But the Templar myth is not confined to conspiracy theories. It has also become a central element in popular culture, where the Templars are often portrayed as the guardians of powerful secrets and ancient treasures. From Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code to countless films, books, and video games, the Templars are depicted as enigmatic figures who possess knowledge that could change the course of history. These fictional portrayals have further fueled the idea that the Templars were not just warriors or monks, but agents of a hidden, secretive tradition, keepers of the ultimate truth. This enduring fascination with the Templars and their hidden knowledge reflects deeper human desires. The desire for power, for understanding, and for access to secrets that are believed to transcend ordinary life. In many ways, the Templars represent the ultimate quest, both a spiritual and material pursuit for something greater than the self, something hidden just out of reach. Whether or not they ever possessed the vast treasure or profound wisdom attributed to them, the Templars' story speaks to humanity's eternal search for meaning and truth. The legacy of the Templars, then, is not just a story about a medieval order of knights, but a symbol of the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of history. Their myth has become a modern-day quest for hidden knowledge, and their downfall, tragic as it was, only served to enhance their allure. The question of what the Templars truly knew, what they guarded, and what they left behind continues to captivate us, even centuries after their fall. The Templars' legacy is one that transcends time, blending history with legend, reality with myth, and power with secrecy. Their story is a testament to humanity's enduring desire to uncover the hidden truths that shape our world, and perhaps, to discover the profound mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of ordinary perception. The story of the Knights Templar is, in many ways, a reflection of the dual nature of human ambition, an ambition that seeks both divine purpose and earthly power. Over the centuries, the legend of the Templars has grown far beyond the confines of historical reality, evolving into a narrative imbued with mystery, secrets, and the allure of untold treasures. The rise of the Order, the way it came to symbolize the intersection of faith and power, and its dramatic fall have led to an enduring fascination with the Templars. But it is not just their wealth, military prowess, or influence that captures the imagination. It is the deeper, more elusive mysteries they seem to have guarded, mysteries that continue to fuel conspiracy theories, myths, and even modern-day quests for hidden knowledge. As the Templars amassed power, their role became ever more complex, and their rise intertwined with the most significant geopolitical movements of the time. In the 12th and 13th centuries, the Crusades, which were launched to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule, provided the backdrop for the formation and rapid expansion of the Templar Order. Originally founded in 1119, the Templars initially served as a military order, tasked with protecting Christian pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem. Their mission was simple, but as they established their presence in the Holy Land, their responsibilities grew exponentially. The Templars quickly became more than just protectors of pilgrims. They became formidable military leaders, landholders, and financiers who played an essential role in the Crusader states. What began as a modest religious order quickly flourished into an influential institution, one that attracted the attention of both the Church and the monarchs of Europe. The Templars' vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience set them apart from other knightly orders, but their ability to accumulate vast wealth, through donations from the nobility and their innovative banking system, placed them in a precarious position. Their ability to lend and borrow money, fund crusades, and manage estates across Europe gave them immense power. power that began to rival the kings and queens who had once supported them. This tension between their religious duty and their growing financial influence created an atmosphere of intrigue and suspicion. As the Templars expanded, so too did the rumors surrounding them. The order's secrecy, coupled with their growing influence, gave rise to speculation about what they might be hiding. Their symbols, particularly the Templar cross, became the subject of countless interpretations. Some believed that the Templars were not just soldiers of Christ, but guardians of ancient knowledge, perhaps even the custodians of lost religious artifacts, such as the Holy Grail. According to some theories, the Templars had uncovered profound esoteric knowledge during their time in the Holy Land, a knowledge that could change the course of history. This speculation was further fueled by the Templars' ritualistic practices, which, to outsiders, seemed shrouded in secrecy and mystery. The very nature of their initiation ceremonies, which included strange oaths, whispered words, and peculiar rites, led many to believe that they were engaged in some kind of arcane tradition, one that transcended the boundaries of traditional Christian dogma. The connection between the Templars and the Holy Grail is one of the most persistent elements of their mythology. The Grail, in medieval literature and legend, was said to be the cup used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper. But as the myth evolved, the Grail became more than just a physical object. It became a symbol of divine knowledge and eternal truth. The idea that the Templars could be the secret keepers of this sacred relic, or even possess knowledge of its true nature, became a tantalizing notion for many. Some believed that the Templars had been entrusted with the Grail during their time in the Holy Land, and that they had hidden it away to protect it from those who would misuse its power. Others suggested that the Grail was not a physical object at all but a symbol of a hidden bloodline, one that descended from Christ himself. According to this theory, the Templars were not just warriors. They were the protectors of a divine heritage that had been passed down through generations. While the connection between the Templars and the Grail remains speculative at best, it has nevertheless become a central element in the mythology surrounding the order. The Grail represents something much larger than a mere relic. It is a metaphor for secret knowledge, the kind of wisdom that transcends time and space. The Templars' association with the Grail, and by extension with hidden knowledge, speaks to a deeper yearning for truth and understanding that runs throughout human history. The idea that a select group of people could hold the key to understanding the mysteries of the universe is a concept that resonates deeply with many, especially those who feel that the answers to life's most profound questions lie just beyond reach. But as the Templars' legend grew, so too did the political forces that sought to bring them down. By the early 14th century, the Templars' wealth, power, and influence had made them the target of the French monarchy, which was heavily indebted to the order. King Philip IV of France, eager to eliminate his financial obligations and consolidate his own power, launched a campaign to destroy the Templars. In 1307, he ordered the arrest of all Templar knights in France, accusing them of heresy, blasphemy, and a host of other crimes. This event, which took place on Friday the 13th, became one of the most famous moments in Templar history, giving rise to the superstition surrounding the number 13. The trials that followed were a mixture of political and religious persecution. Many Templars were tortured and forced to confess to the charges against them, including accusations of idol worship and sodomy. These confessions, obtained under duress, were later used to justify the dissolution of the order by Pope Clement V, who, under pressure from King Philip, officially disbanded the Templars in 1312. The Grand Master of the Templars, Jacques de Molay, was executed by burning at the stake in 1314, marking the symbolic end of the order. But while the Templars were disbanded, their treasure, their wealth, and the knowledge they were rumored to have guarded, did not disappear. The fate of the Templar treasure has been the subject of countless theories and speculations over the centuries. Many believed that the Templars, knowing that their downfall was imminent, had hidden their wealth in secret locations. Some suggested that they buried it beneath their castles, while others believed that the treasure was hidden in the vaults of the Vatican or secret chambers in Jerusalem. The idea that the Templars had buried their treasure, and that it might still be hidden somewhere in the world today, has led to a modern-day treasure hunt, with adventurers, scholars, and even governments attempting to uncover the secrets of the Templars' lost fortune. But the treasure of the Templars is not just a matter of material wealth. It is the idea of what they may have guarded, the secret knowledge that they were believed to have possessed, that continues to fuel the legend. The Templars were not simply a group of knights protecting pilgrims. They were seen by many as the custodians of ancient wisdom, wisdom that could reveal the deepest truths about the universe, about humanity's origins, and about the nature of God. This knowledge, if it existed, was far more valuable than gold or jewels. It was knowledge that had the potential to change the way people understood their place in the world and the divine plan that guided history. In the centuries following the fall of the Templars, the belief that they were the guardians of hidden knowledge gave rise to numerous theories about secret societies and occult traditions. The Freemasons, in particular, have often been linked to the Templars, with some believing that they inherited the Templars' secrets and continued their work in secret. The Freemasons' use of symbols, such as the compass and square, is thought to have connections to Templar rituals and mysteries. Many of the most prominent figures in history, including some of the founding fathers of the United States, were Freemasons, and their connection to the Templars has been the subject of much speculation. The Templars' legacy has not only endured in historical accounts and legends but also in the modern imagination. Their story has become a central theme in popular culture, from novels and films to video games and television series. They are often depicted as the keepers of profound secrets, the last bastions of a hidden tradition that stretches back to ancient times. This portrayal speaks to a broader cultural fascination with the idea of secret knowledge, knowledge that has been hidden away from the masses by powerful elites or forces beyond human comprehension. Ultimately, the story of the Knights Templar is not just the story of a medieval order of knights. It is a story about the eternal human desire to seek out hidden truths, to uncover the secrets that have been buried by time, power, and tradition. It is a story about power, betrayal, faith, and the search for meaning in a world that often seems beyond understanding. The Templars, as both warriors and guardians of secret knowledge, embody the paradox at the heart of human history. The tension between what is known and what is hidden, between the visible and the invisible, between the sacred and the profane. And as long as their story continues to be told, it will continue to inspire those who seek the truths that lie just beyond the veil of history. The Templar legend, with its many layers of mystery and intrigue, has persisted through the centuries, weaving its way through both historical records and cultural imagination. What is most fascinating about this tale is the way it touches on deeper, more universal themes: the clash between faith and power, the pursuit of hidden knowledge, and the nature of truth itself. The Knights Templar, as both a military order and a symbol of ancient wisdom, have come to represent the tension between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. But their story, which begins in the Holy Land during the Crusades, evolves into something far more complex. It becomes a narrative not just about a religious order but about the forces that shape history itself. At their peak, the Templars were one of the most powerful and wealthy organizations in medieval Europe. They wielded influence that extended far beyond the battlefield. Their military prowess during the Crusades gave them the reputation of formidable warriors, but their true power lay in their ability to control land, manage vast financial networks, and navigate the intricacies of European politics. In essence, the Templars were an order of monks who had found a way to merge the spiritual and the temporal, balancing vows of poverty and chastity with the accumulation of vast riches and influence. This paradox, this delicate balance between religious devotion and worldly power, made them both revered and feared. But as their influence grew, so did the suspicions surrounding them. For centuries, the Templars had enjoyed the protection of the Church, exempt from the authority of local rulers and often trusted with immense responsibilities. They held property in numerous countries, acted as financiers for monarchs, and were given the trust of kings and popes alike. They were, in many ways, the perfect example of an institution that could operate beyond the control of the secular world. This autonomy, however, became a source of tension, as it allowed the Templars to grow too powerful, too independent, and too secretive. The secrecy surrounding the Templars was, of course, part of the allure. As an organization that operated outside the bounds of typical ecclesiastical authority, they were believed to be involved in mysterious practices, rituals, and traditions that were not shared with the outside world. This gave rise to rumors and conspiracy theories. Among the most enduring of these rumors was the idea that the Templars had uncovered lost knowledge during their time in the Holy Land, knowledge that could shake the foundations of Christian doctrine and change the course of history. What began as a simple order of monks turned into an institution shrouded in mystery, attracting the imagination of those who believed they had access to forbidden truths. In the centuries following their downfall, the mythology surrounding the Templars began to grow exponentially. The accusations of heresy and blasphemy that were leveled against them during their trial in the early 14th century have never fully been proven to be true. Many of the confessions extracted from Templar knights during their torture were likely false, forced under duress. Yet these confessions were enough to fuel a broader narrative about the Templars as a secretive, dangerous organization that had challenged the very foundations of the Church. The disbandment of the order, its leaders arrested, tried, and executed, left behind a void, both in terms of wealth and knowledge, that would become the focus of generations to come. One of the most enduring elements of the Templar myth is the idea of their hidden treasure. For centuries, it was believed that the Templars, anticipating their downfall, had hidden away their wealth in secret locations, leaving behind coded maps and cryptic clues that could lead to their fortune. These treasures, it was believed, were not just material wealth but also contained the key to a deeper, more profound understanding of the world. Perhaps the treasure was the Holy Grail, or perhaps it was something even more powerful, an ancient relic, a manuscript, or a secret formula that could unlock divine knowledge. The search for this treasure has captivated adventurers, historians, and treasure hunters alike, driving countless expeditions, films, and books dedicated to the mystery. However, the treasure itself has never been found, and its very existence remains a matter of speculation. But the myth of the treasure continues to perpetuate the idea that the Templars were not just warriors but guardians of secrets so valuable that they would do anything to protect them. The treasure is symbolic of the knowledge they were believed to have guarded, knowledge that transcended mere gold and silver, and instead spoke to the possibility of hidden truths that could change the course of human history. This idea of hidden knowledge ties into another key aspect of the Templar legend, their supposed connection to ancient wisdom. According to some theories, the Templars did not just protect the Grail or treasure. They were the inheritors of a deeper, more esoteric tradition, one that originated long before the rise of Christianity. Some even claim that the Templars were the custodians of wisdom passed down from ancient civilizations like Egypt or Mesopotamia, or from secret societies that predated Christianity. They were, in essence, the heirs of a lost knowledge, one that could reveal the true nature of the universe and mankind's place within it. This connection to ancient knowledge is also tied to the broader idea of the Templars as a secret society. Many conspiracy theorists believe that the Templars survived in some form after their official dissolution in the early 14th century, passing their knowledge on to other organizations. The most famous of these is the Freemasons, whose use of symbols and rituals bears a striking resemblance to those of the Templars. According to some theories, the Freemasons are the true heirs to the Templar legacy, continuing the work of their predecessors in secret, preserving their knowledge and rituals, and using them to influence world events from behind the scenes. The symbols of the Templars, the cross, the sword, and the compass, are still present in Freemasonry today, and the belief that the two organizations are connected has become one of the most enduring aspects of Templar mythology. The Templars' connection to secret societies and hidden knowledge extends beyond the Freemasons. Over the centuries, various other organizations have been linked to the Templars, including the Rosicrucians, the Illuminati, and other occult traditions. These groups, much like the Templars themselves, are believed to have guarded hidden knowledge, secret rituals, and a vision of the world that is beyond the reach of the average person. The notion that powerful secret societies have controlled the course of human history, manipulating events from the shadows, is a popular and enduring conspiracy theory. Whether or not the Templars are directly connected to these groups, the idea that they were part of a larger tradition of hidden knowledge continues to captivate the imagination. Yet, beyond the myths and mysteries surrounding the Templars, there lies a deeper truth about their legacy. The Templars were not just a group of knights protecting relics and treasure. They were an expression of the broader human desire for power and knowledge. In a world defined by feudalism, religious strife, and war, the Templars represented an ideal of chivalric duty and spiritual commitment, combined with a pragmatic understanding of wealth, politics, and influence. The order's ability to reconcile its religious vows with its material success spoke to a larger tension in society, between the sacred and the secular, between the spiritual and the worldly. This tension is mirrored in the Templars' downfall. As their wealth and power grew, they became increasingly vulnerable to the same forces that had helped them rise in the first place. King Philip IV of France, deeply indebted to the Templars and seeking to eliminate their influence, saw an opportunity to destroy the order. In 1307, he had many of the Templars arrested, accusing them of heresy and other crimes. The subsequent trial, which was marred by torture and false confessions, resulted in the execution of the Templar Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, and the dissolution of the order. This dramatic collapse of the Templars marked the end of an era. But even in their destruction, the Templars left behind a legacy that would continue to shape the course of history. Their story is not just one of betrayal and tragedy, but of the enduring human desire to seek knowledge, to wield power, and to uncover the mysteries of the universe. The Templars' association with secret knowledge, hidden treasures, and powerful symbols speaks to a deeper, more profound truth, that the pursuit of power and knowledge, whether divine or worldly, has always been at the heart of human ambition. The Templars may have been destroyed, but their legend, and the mysteries surrounding them, will continue to fascinate and inspire generations to come. Their story reminds us that the search for meaning, for truth, and for power is timeless. It speaks to the very human desire to understand the world around us and to grasp at the deeper forces that shape our existence. The Templars, in their rise and fall, embodied the complexities of human nature, our ability to create great power, and our vulnerability to forces beyond our control. Their legacy endures, not only in the myths and legends that surround them, but in the deeper, more enduring questions they raise about faith, knowledge, and the pursuit of hidden truths. The downfall of the Knights Templar was one of the most dramatic and devastating chapters in the history of medieval Europe. It marked the end of an era for the order, but it also set in motion a series of events that would forever alter the course of history. The Templars, once the most powerful and influential religious military order in Europe, were brought low not by the armies of the Muslims they fought against in the Crusades, but by the very Christian monarchs and religious leaders they had once served. The collapse of the Templar order was not simply the end of a religious institution, but the destruction of a powerful symbol, one that had represented both divine authority and worldly ambition. What followed was a web of intrigue, betrayal, and conspiracy, leaving a legacy that continues to captivate imaginations to this day. The Templars had always been a paradox. They were a religious order, founded to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land, yet they became wealthy, powerful, and politically influential. Their military prowess, honed during the Crusades, was matched only by their success in financial and land management. They were granted special privileges by the Church, including immunity from local laws, the right to collect taxes, and the ability to own vast estates across Europe. At their height, the Templars controlled vast tracts of land, enjoyed unparalleled wealth, and were a significant force in European politics. They were seen as the champions of Christendom, defenders of the faith, and an embodiment of the medieval ideal of chivalry. But this power and influence, combined with the secrecy that surrounded their activities, made the Templars increasingly vulnerable to suspicion and envy. While many nobles and kings were content to accept the Templars' military and financial assistance, there were others who resented the order's power and autonomy. These growing tensions culminated in one of the most extraordinary acts of betrayal in history, the arrest of the Templar Knights on Friday, October 13, 1307, in France. The order's destruction was set into motion by King Philip IV of France, who was deeply in debt to the Templars and saw an opportunity to eliminate them as a threat to his power and finances. King Philip, also known as Philip the Fair, had long been at odds with the Templars. The Knights had become one of the largest creditors of the French crown, holding vast sums of money lent to Philip for his wars and ambitious projects. The king, unable to repay his debts, sought to find a way to rid himself of the Templars and seize their wealth. With the support of Pope Clement V, who was under Philip's influence, the king orchestrated a campaign to bring the order to its knees. The charges levied against the Templars were nothing short of outrageous. They were accused of heresy, blasphemy, idol worship, and other forms of sacrilege. The accusations ranged from the absurd to the grotesque, including claims that the Templars engaged in secret rituals involving the worship of a mysterious idol known as the Baphomet. The idol was said to be an object of pagan worship, a symbol of darkness and evil. The Templars were also accused of engaging in sexual rites, including homosexual acts, and of denying Christ as their savior. These charges were based largely on confessions extracted under torture, and many of the Templars who were arrested were subjected to brutal interrogation techniques that led to false admissions of guilt. The trial of the Templars, which took place over the next several years, was a mix of political maneuvering, religious zeal, and blatant corruption. The confessions, obtained through torture, were used as evidence to condemn the Templars, even though many of the accused later recanted their statements, claiming they had been forced to confess under duress. Pope Clement V, despite initial reluctance, eventually agreed to dissolve the order in 1312, under pressure from King Philip. The Templars' assets were seized, and the order was officially disbanded, effectively ending its reign of power. The trial and execution of the Templar Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was the final blow. In 1314, de Molay was burned at the stake in Paris, along with several other high-ranking members of the order. As he burned, it is said that de Molay cursed King Philip and Pope Clement V, predicting their deaths within the year. Remarkably, both Philip and Clement did indeed die shortly thereafter, fueling the legend that the Templars had cursed their enemies in their final moments. This only added to the mystique of the Templar order, cementing its place in the annals of history as one of the most enigmatic and controversial organizations of the medieval period. Despite the Templars' official destruction, their legend did not die. On the contrary, it began to grow. The myth of the Templars took on new life as people began to speculate about what had really happened to the order's wealth and knowledge. While most of their land and assets were seized by the French monarchy and the Church, many believed that the Templars had hidden their treasures in secret locations before their downfall. This belief gave rise to countless theories about the hidden treasure of the Templars, leading to a search that persists to this day. Some claimed that the Templars had hidden their riches in the vaults of the Vatican. Others believed that the treasure was buried in secret locations in Europe or the Holy Land, while still others speculated that it had been taken across the sea to the Americas. The idea that the Templars had concealed a treasure that was both material and mystical, the key to a hidden knowledge that could change the course of history, became one of the most enduring elements of the Templar myth. This notion of hidden treasure and secret knowledge also ties into another key aspect of the Templar legend: their alleged connection to ancient wisdom. Over the centuries, various theories have emerged suggesting that the Templars were not merely a military order, but the guardians of lost knowledge that could unlock the mysteries of the universe. Some theorists have claimed that the Templars were the inheritors of ancient traditions dating back to the time of the Egyptian pharaohs or even earlier. This knowledge, according to some, was passed down through secret societies, including the Freemasons, who were said to have inherited the Templars' secret rites and symbols. The connection between the Templars and Freemasonry has been one of the most persistent themes in Templar lore. Freemasonry, which rose to prominence in the 17th and 18th centuries, is often seen as the modern-day continuation of the Templar tradition, with its secret rituals, symbols, and emphasis on knowledge and enlightenment. Some scholars and conspiracy theorists believe that the Freemasons are the true heirs to the Templar legacy, continuing their work in secret and using their influence to shape the course of world events. While there is no definitive evidence to support this claim, the similarities between Templar and Masonic symbols, such as the square and compass, have fueled this connection.